come into this one losing 5 straight and are trying to end the remaining appearances on their schedule in a positive light. In their way, this week, the hosting Georgetown Hoyas. The Hoyas have had tough losses in their last 2. Prior to that, Georgetown was riding a 3-game win streak. Savion Hart had 21 runs for 133 yards and 2 tuds in their loss to Richmond last week. Hart and his Hoyas are looking to get back to playing their best ball as they try to stay above 500. The Rams have a Patriot League win on their mind. It would be their 2nd of the season. From Washington, D.C. at Cooper Field, it's the Georgetown Hoyas facing off against the traveling Fordham Rams, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Taking you live from Cooper Field on what has to be one of the most beautiful campuses in the country, Georgetown University. Chris Carrino, honored as always to be joined by my partner, Brendan Shorey. We're getting you set for Patriot League football action between the hosting Georgetown Hoyas and the traveling Fordham Rams. Brendan, Rams coming to this one desperate for a win, but a little bit banged up.
Yeah, a lot of guys in this wide receiving room having gone out over the past few weeks. They're really going to need some other guys to step up and make some plays today if they want to come away with this one.
Yeah, Jack Lowe out for that defense as well. Alex Kemper getting slotted back in after he missed time last week, the captain on that defense. We got to check in with head coach of Fordham Football, Joe Conlon, before this one. Take a listen.
Coach, the first topic of conversation, I've made jokes about it the last couple weeks, how much we talk about James Conway, but now he's closing in on a record I can't even really comprehend. Have you had in any of your programs a record that unbreakable be broken? And can you just talk about how great James has been in general?
Yeah, I mean, at UNH we had a kid break Jerry Rice's FCS touchdowns record.
That's why you ask.
I think it was 49.
Jesus.
Dave ended up with David Ball. Ended up with 53 or 54. So
you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty incredible. I mean obviously Timmy set the passing record here. Chase Edmonds was chasing 6,000.
Of course.
And I wasn't here when Chase was doing that, but I was at Yale and we were playing against them and certainly nervous about him. So. I've been in this game long enough. You've seen some pretty amazing things, but this is, I think this is one that will stand for a while.
Yeah.
If Jimmy gets there, and obviously every one of those was well earned, and Jimmy is who he is because of the work he puts in on and off the field. So I couldn't be more happy for the kid and his family and his fiance. So God willing, he gets those too.
Yeah, he's one tackle away. You talk about those guys. Do you feel a certain difference in those guys, the guys that break those records, off the field or on the field? Is there just a different, for lack of a better word, aura?
Well, they're all super competitive. They're all, self-critical. They're always working on ways to get better in various situations and things like that. They're always bringing other guys along. They make everybody around them better, So, yeah, I mean, those guys, they tend to just kind of look different when they play the game. They have a different level of composure and poise to them and never really get rattled.
Yeah.
I want to kind of switch the topic a little bit. Staying on this team, though, Gunnar Smith, last home game last week in his first season as a Fordham Ram. Obviously 2 games left, both on the road, though. Just kind of what have you seen from him this season in terms of how he played, how he progressed throughout the season, and any kind of outlooks for this game against Georgetown?
Yeah, he's getting hit a little more than he should, and he's had kind of a revolving door at wide receiver in terms of who's healthy and who's not. So, which is really challenging for a quarterback. Timmy was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking a thing away from Timmy. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. But he was always kind of thrown to the same guys. Gunnar has really kind of gone through it in terms of, he hasn't really been able to build a relationship with anybody. And I think the best example would be, kind of his 4th game playing with Noden Tracy. And Noden had the best game of his season, last week. So, it's just he's been kind of robbed of that with where we've been from an offensive skill standpoint this year. But he's been consummate professional throughout the entire year. He's been tough. He's done a great job with his legs. He's been a competitor. So excited for what's to come.
And to switch the attention to your opponent, not much changes there from a coaching perspective at Georgetown. They've tended to have the same regime for a while now. Does preparing for them not change year to year? Does it change a lot? Having a regime that's there that long, what does that do from a preparation perspective?
Yeah, I mean, Robbie's been there a while, and so have his coordinators, Kevin and Rob. They do a good job. I think those guys have been in football a long time, and they will change what they do kind of year over year based on what they have. So I think they do a real nice job of that. I mean, their defense has gone through 3 or 4 different iterations since I've been in the league, and similar to their offense based on who they have at quarterback and what they have outside. So I mean, it's all kind of similar, but to the kids, it certainly would look different year over year. So yeah. It's certainly not the same team we played 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or last year. So you have to kind of play the hand you're dealt, and Rob does a good job of getting kids in there, and they do a nice job of kind of figuring that out. So that they're a talented football team, and it's going to be a good test on the road.
Would you see more continuity in another era of college football? Is it specifically this one where the turnover is just ridiculous, or is it just different always?
It's kind of year to year.
Yeah.
I think a long time ago there was more continuity. This year seems to be a little more chaotic than most. I think last year was relatively calm. I mean, off the top of my head, so
right.
Don't pull up any stats to disprove me. But this year, I think it's the most probably high-profile jobs that are open, which will obviously create a domino effect that you haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
In the coaching world, so you just got to kind of roll with it, and at the end of the day, it's about coaching ball.
Yeah.
So it's you can do that really a lot of different places.
Right.
Jumping back to Gunnar real quick, you mentioned just not really having the ability to build as much chemistry with his guys because of all the injuries. How beneficial is it that a lot of these guys still have another year at least of eligibility?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, KJ has 2 more, Ricky has 2 more, Noden has 2 more, I believe. Jabril would have 2 more. Troy has 3. Freeburg has 2 more.
Everybody.
So yeah, they're all. Unfortunately, we don't have them this year, but Freeburg's down, KJ's down, Ricky's down, Jabril's now down. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we don't have them this year, but there is certainly it's not all negative.
And as Brendan said, last 2 games of the season, with everything behind it, what are the goals going into these last 2 games?
Just play good football. Run the ball, stop the run, be clean on special teams. Don't turn the ball over. If you do those things, you're going to have a chance to win games.
How have you felt about how clean defensively your team has played, penalty-wise, just
they've
in
been
general?
awesome.
Yeah.
I would say since Dartmouth, they've been fantastic.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of that credit goes to James Lenahan and the staff and the kids. I mean, they've played really good defense, and they have not, they've just been sharp, they've been focused, and they're playing well.
Yeah. This defense you mentioned in the Ram Roundup, just the run defense and how good they've been, especially as of recently. You mentioned Germanic as a guy who moved from level 3 to level 2. Just how much of an impact does that have, and how kind of has he been playing differently at that level?
Well, Drew kind of, he's kind of that guy who plays on the edge a little bit.
Here at Cooper Field, kicking it off, Bennett Henderson through the end zone. It'll be a touchback for the Georgetown Hoyas, and they'll start it off offensively. Fordham won the toss, and they elected to defer, so Georgetown will start it off for us here today, Brendan.
Yeah, and we'll see this Fordham defense take the field for the first drive, a defense that has been a lot stronger as of recent than, say, the beginning of the season. That's something Coach Conlon noted, too, is just how well this defense has been playing, especially against the run. It's
around a 60-degree day here at Georgetown, slightly cloudy, a little bit warmer here as we get down south. Warmer day at Virginia a couple weeks ago as well at Richmond. Georgetown in their full dark blue home uniforms, going left to right, silver helmets. Fordham Rams in their white jerseys, maroon pants, maroon helmets. They're going to go right to left. Georgetown will start it off offensively. A fake handoff, throw on the near side, incomplete pass. Alex Kemper getting himself involved early. As I mentioned in the intro, Alex Kemper out last week. The defensive captain now back in, slotted at cornerback this week.
Bit of a wonky play there, Chris. Des Thomas, the quarterback for Georgetown. It looks like he's going to keep this one on the run. Ends up trying to throw it last second, but just nothing there for him.
Second down and 10 for Georgetown. Ball on the 25 after the touchback. In the shotgun, Georgetown takes the snap, throw on the far sideline. Ball's caught. Russell down almost immediately, a yard on the gain. It'll set up 3rd and 9. Good first 2 plays here for the Fordham defense.
Yeah, and you set up now for this Georgetown team. You hold them. It's a 3rd and about 6 yards. That's a good length that you want to be at for this defense. There, you can mix it up. You can show a bunch of different looks here. You kind of have that freedom to do whatever you want.
3rd down for Georgetown. They have their star back, Savion Hart, directly to the left. Their quarterback, Des Thomas. Des Thomas sends Kibble in motion. Kibble, star wide receiver for this Georgetown unit. He's on the far side. Takes the snap, 3-step drop. Throws it to Kibble. Kibble drops it. Alex Kemper draped over him like a blanket on the near sideline, and that's going to be a turnover on downs for Georgetown. Strong start for the Fordham defense.
And, Chris, what Des Thomas sees here is you have star against star. You have Alex Kemper against Jimmy Kibble, one-on-one on the outside, and Thomas loves that look. He loves it. He wants to give his receiver a chance to go make a play. This time, Kemper just fantastic coverage, stays with Kibble, and breaks that one up.
Ball spotted on the 29. That's where they'll punt it away. It'll be Josh Leff for Georgetown, the junior. He's going to kick it away on the 15-yard line. Boots that one, a low kick. It'll be taken as fair catch. Bounces past Fordham. Georgetown will have good field position here. Ball past the 20, finally down at the 18. That's where Gunnar Smith and the Fordham offense will start.
Yeah, Mike Donegan there on the return. That punt just low, line drive, bouncing. Just an awkward ball to kind of handle. He'll let that one bounce. And you mentioned the Fordham offense now taking the field.
Fordham offense, Brendan, you mentioned, is banged up, specifically at the wide receiver position. That wide receiver room is a lot different than the one we looked at week 1 at Boston College this season.
Yeah, 4 big names out today for the Fordham, in that Fordham wide receiving group. Jack Freeberg, who came into this game, he was out last game as well, came into those leading the team in receptions and receiving yards. You have Jabril Carter, who had his highest game yardage-wise last week. Ricky Gonzalez and KJ Reed, 4 big names, 4 guys who were expected to play a big role in this offense going into the year, now out for the season.
Yeah, and for the guys that are going to be here, Noden Tracy going to be probably the most notable wide receiver for this core this afternoon. He had 2 touchdowns, 5 for 59 last week. That was a really impressive start. Also saw Jack Benton get a little bit involved. Troy Worrell had a touchdown. It's going to be pretty much those 3 guys, along with Jaden Allen, the tight end.
Yeah, Noden Tracy coming into this game only trails Freeberg by 1 reception in terms of usage. Obviously, he doesn't have as many of those kind of chunk plays as Freeberg has had all season, but a guy who has been reliable, who Gunnar Smith has gained some sort of chemistry with, and we've seen that progress throughout the season as Gunnar trusts Noden Tracy more, and Tracy knows what Gunnar wants more.
Yeah, and even turning your attention to the running back room, a guy like Johan Lee Lewis could be a big factor in that pass game.
Yeah, when you have a bunch of receivers out like you do today, you tend to lean on those position groups that are healthy. You look at this running back room that's been healthy, at least as of recently. You look at this tight end room as well between Matt Buron and Jaden Allen, guys who can come in and play a role in that pass-catching game, who have been healthy all season. It adds some sort of element that you're able to kind of spread the ball around a little more to these other positions.
Fordham taking the field offensively. They've had their defense help them at certain stages this season, haven't really been able to capitalize on it. How does the Fordham offense capitalize on the good first drive for the Fordham defense?
Well, I think it all starts with the run game. I know it's been talked about all year long, and that's one of Coach Conlon's biggest worries is what about the run game. He's been harping on it all year long, but you have to get the run game going. You need to stay ahead of the sticks. You're going against a defense who's giving up almost 400 yards of total offense per game today. You have to take advantage of these early downs, make it 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, so it's very manageable, so that you have to keep this defense on their toes.
Gunnar Smith leading out the Fordham offense offensively, or Gun, as Coach Conlon called him in our interview this week. 14 for 30 last week, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, a timely interception in the second half. That hurt his Fordham Rams. Drive will start on the 19, Fordham's own 19. That's where Gunnar will start. He's in the shotgun. Jamel James directly to his left. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Jack Benton by himself on that far sideline, out wide. Smith waiting for the officials to give him the go-ahead. Smith looks to his sideline for direction. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks over the middle, now looks far sideline, tries to find Benton, and it's almost intercepted in and out of the hands of the Georgetown secondary, and that's going to bring up second down. Gunnar Smith looking to unload there on the first play of the game.
Yeah, he is, and now something to worry about after that play, Chris.
Yeah.
Benton is hobbling back to the line of scrimmage, something you don't want to see from an already beaten up group.
Seems like Jack Benton's going to be staying in the game, as Brendan said, hobbling hard. Braylon Wise making the play there, his third pass deflection of the season. That's going to be ran on second down by Jamel James. Get a couple yards on that play, setting up third down. Not a super productive first two downs for the Fordham offense.
No, an incompletion on first down always sets you behind where you ideally want to be. And so obviously this run, not getting a whole lot of yardage, sets him up for a difficult third down.
No gain on that play, setting up 3rd and 10. Ball still in the Fordham 19. Smith in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. Jaden Allen, tight end, in the slot position on the near sideline. Smith communicating with his offensive line, moving back to the slot. Jamel James to his right. Takes the snap with a clap. Drops back. Receives a lot of pressure, and he's taken down. Georgetown swarmed the backfield and got to the quarterback. Defensive stops for both teams on the opening drives.
This is something Coach Conlon is worried about. He says Gunnar Smith has been taking too many hits this year back in the pocket. Georgetown gets home this time on a big third down, sets up a 4th and very long. And Fordham's going to punt this one away, and Georgetown is most likely going to have some pretty good field position.
Fordham started that drive ambitiously with a long Jack Benton try from Gunnar Smith, around 25, 30 yards, and not a ton of ambition after that.
No, not a whole lot. A run that doesn't gain any yardage, and then a pass play where you end up taking a loss.
Fordham deep in their own territory, still at now the 15-yard line. FUV zone, Dominic Sansone kicking it away inside his own 5-yard line. A booming kick for Dom. That one's going to be at the 35 of Georgetown, and the returner's taken down almost immediately. Fordham's special teams continuing their good work, and that'll give Georgetown not great field position for the field position they gave Fordham.
Yeah, well, Chris, Will Haslett, the starting punter for Fordham, has been dealing with some injury issues over the past few weeks, and Dominic Sansone has stepped up into that absence, and what a leg he has. We've seen it throughout these last few games with him punting. Just incredible power from him on his punts.
And Will Haslett still in pads. We still see him on the sideline. He'll hold for Bennett Henderson, the kicker for this Fordham team. And now the Georgetown offense going back out there after a disappointing first drive. They're going to look to obviously operate differently and also have a different result.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and get Kibble involved early on this drive. Obviously, they tried the one on third down, the deeper pass to Kibble, but
even motioned him on that play.
They did motion him. They motioned him outside to get him isolated one-on-one against Alex Kemper for Fordham. But I would expect them to try and get him more usage early on. Get him used on first down, maybe on second down. He's so productive for this offense that I would be surprised if they continue to use him like the way they did last series.
Jimmy Kibble, wide receiver for Georgetown. Georgetown only does a singular captain on both sides of the ball. Kibble is the offensive captain for this Hoyas team. Less than 50 yards one time this season. 56 receptions, 916 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8 games of 80 yards or more, 5+ receptions 7 times this season. It's been a fantastic year, a decent year last year, but nowhere near the production of what he's done this season.
And Chris, you want to talk about usage? This Georgetown offense only has one receiver over 250 yards. That's Kibble. Where is he? North of 900 yards on the season. He's dominant. They use him all the time. They love to go to him. He has more than double the yards, double the receptions as anyone else on this team. And you think maybe when you target someone that much, defenses would key in. Even if defenses key in on him, he's still productive.
Yeah, and we talked about Johan Lee Lewis adding to that receiving room from the running back position. Savion Hart does a similar thing for this Georgetown team. 2 games, 75+ reception yards, both in the first 3 weeks. He's had 5 touchdowns in his last 4 weeks. Savion Hart, a big element of this Georgetown offense, even if they're not necessarily this ground and pound unit.
Yeah, he's up there in terms of receiving yards on this team. 10 receptions, 170 yards. He's got a touchdown through the air this season. They definitely use him well through the air, whether it's screen passes, whether it's out in the flats. He's a safety option for Des Thomas.
10 TDs this season. Don't see double-digit touchdowns very often. He's got it. Georgetown will start offensively in their own territory. Ball in the Georgetown 37. Des Thomas in the shotgun position. Savion Hart, guy we were just talking about, directly to his right. He motions Hart now to his left. 2 receivers to his left, 1 on the near side. Hands it off to Hart. Hart stopped in the backfield, makes the juke, gets around a yard on the play with his elusiveness. Fordham defense is there.
That's a great job by John Scott there. He sets the edge and forces Hart to cut that one back into the teeth of the defense where he runs right into the Fordham linebacking and D-line.
James Conway near that play. James Conway 1 tackle away from the all-time NCAA D1 tackle record. Also 4 away from the Fordham single-season tackle record. 2nd and 9 for the Georgetown offense. Ball on the 38, 1 yard on that play. Bryant hands it off to Hart once again through the middle. Finds a hole on the left, past the 50, finally taken down at the 49. Conway on the tackle. That's the tying tackle for the record. Savion Hart, impressive run. An even more impressive feat. James Conway now tied for the all-time D1 NCAA tackle record.
And you look at how Conway gets to this tackle here. He's on the right side of the offensive line, comes down when he sees run, and then has to chase down Hart.
1st and 10 after that play. Ball actually on the 50, right on the G of the Hoyas logo. Conway 1 away. We'll keep a keen eye on him. 1st and 10 for the Hoyas. Bryant in the shotgun. Claps for the snap. Fakes the handoff. Now looks right. Throws deep. Has a man. Good defense in the secondary. T.J. Jones II knocks it away for Fordham, and the Fordham defense continues to make plays this afternoon.
And he does a fantastic job here. He's trailing a little bit on this receiver, but he gets his head back around, finds the ball, and gets his hand up there, does not commit any pass interference.
T.J. Jones II had an excitement for that play, but there's a flag on the field. Laundry.
To me, it looked like roughing the passer. It's on Fordham. It's in the backfield. I think it's roughing the passer.
Fordham going to move up. Georgetown going to move up all the way to Fordham's 35 after that play. I believe it's a roughing the passer. Des Bryant hit hard late on that play as he let it go. Threw that pass under heavy pressure. After that play, 1st and 10, 35 yards to the goal line. Bryant takes the snap, tosses it left. Hart makes a juke, gets past a few defenders, eventually taken down. 3 yards to gain on that play.
And Chris, that's Drew Minnick there. They moved him, Fordham did, into that level 2, into that linebacking unit because he's so good against the run. He comes up here and sets that edge.
2nd and 8 after that play. Ball on the Fordham 33-yard line. Some substitutions for Georgetown. Hart staying in the backfield. He'll be to the left of Bryant. Bryant still in the shotgun. 1 receiver to his left, 2 to his right. Hart reversing to the right of his quarterback. Bryant claps for the snap once again. 2-step drop. Looks in the flat to the right. Has Hart as running back. Hart tries to make a stiff arm. Ends up being tackled almost immediately. That'll lead to a 3rd and 6 for the Georgetown offense. Good job from the Fordham defense.
Yeah, and same guy there, Drew Minnick, in the man coverage there on Hart. He's able to track him down, keep his eyes on the hips, and make the tackle to force a 3rd down.
As you've talked about this week, Minnick moving down in this Fordham defense, playing more of a maybe physical role.
Playing more of a physical role, and the reason they did that is they put Boogie Owens back in that secondary, who unfortunately suffered a non-contact ACL on Wednesday.
3rd and 4 for the Hoyas. A really unfortunate injury for the Rams. They continue to pile on. Georgetown on the Fordham 29. Takes the snap. In the flat once again, this time to Jaden Sumper. He's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Fordham defense like a pack of dogs, and they get free and another stop.
And Chris, who else? This is 3 plays in a row. Drew Minnick. He's not on the tackle here. He's rushing Des Thomas. Gets his hands up in the air. Forces an errant throw that is behind the running back. Forces him to turn back around and allows the Rams to tackle him in the backfield.
Seems like Georgetown's going to take a long field goal attempt here. How long in the field goal attempt, Brent?
51 here on this one, Chris.
A 51-yarder. Thomas Anderson, the sophomore, a mighty task in front of him. Still scoreless on the scoreboard. 8:55 to go. Sweeps the left leg, and it's blocked. Fordham blocks it. Fordham got 2 blocks a couple weeks ago against Richmond. They have another one this afternoon. Special teams keeps making plays, Brendan.
Special teams keep making plays. You mentioned it 2 weeks ago against Richmond, a couple of field goal blocks. Today, a field goal block. You look at last week's game against Bucknell, a huge return on a kickoff by Tutson that sets up the Fordham offense. Their special teams unit has been making plays over the past few weeks.
After the blocked field goal, Fordham going to have it on their own 34-yard line. That's where they'll start. It's going to be Gunnar Henderson trotting back out there with the Rams. He'll settle into the shotgun position. Once again, Jamel James to his left. 2 receivers on both sides. 1st and 10. from the 34. Smith takes the snap, gives the handoff to James. James tries to get through a hole on the left. It collapses almost immediately, and that'll lead to around no gain on the play, setting up second down.
Something Fordham likes to do on these handoffs, they like to keep it slow. That way the defensive line has to stay and be aware of Gunnar Smith's legs.
And Gunnar Smith's threat with his legs is the reason for that. After the play, 2nd and 10, ball still on the 34. Smith in the shotgun, directing his offense, pointing at actually some linebackers in the Georgetown second level. Smith claps for the snap, looks to his right, throws it to James in the flat. James has it on the far sideline, taken down almost immediately. 2 yards on that play, another 3rd and long for the Fordham Rams. Rams not doing a lot of things productively on the first 2 downs of these drives.
Yeah, well, Georgetown likes to run a lot of nickel, 5 defensive backs, which takes away a lot of stuff down the field. This time, Gunnar Smith forced to check it down.
3rd and 7 for the Rams. Ball on their own 37. Smith in the shotgun. Smith snaps back. Looks on the far sideline, has James in the flat. He makes the catch, almost gets to the first down. He's around a yard short. A good effort by James, but not enough.
And, Chris, this is going to bring up a decision here for Coach Conlon.
Yeah.
It looks like the punting unit's trotting out onto the field.
Yeah, a quick decision by Coach Joe Conlon. Punting unit comes out almost immediately. FUV zone, Dominic Sansone getting back ready to kick this one. Do you go for that one, Brendan? What's your opinion there?
You're inside, you're on your own side of the field. You're around your own 40. So with a tie game this early, I like the decision. Play it safe. Don't go for it. If Georgetown had scored on the last drive, then maybe.
Ball down at the 42, Fordham's 42. Sansone kicking this one away past the 30, around the 28-yard line. It flies all the way inside the 10 and gets a good bounce. The ball settles around the 7-yard line. More great field position and great play from the Fordham Rams on special teams. That one started by FUV's own Dominic Sansone.
And Hassan Mahasin, the punt returner for the Georgetown Hoyas, he tries a little trick that we see a lot of punt returners do in the NFL where you find a spot, you know the ball's not coming here, but you act as if you're catching it, try to draw the Fordham punt unit in and let the ball bounce to the end zone behind you. This time, just an incredible bounce.
A little break here from Cooper Field at the beautiful campus of Georgetown University. We'll take a little break. 7 minutes on the first quarter clock. Still scoreless in this Patriot League matchup. We'll be right back. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports. What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Carrino.
I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Tucker Austin.
Your Fordham Football broadcasters for the 2025 season.
Join us every Saturday on 90.7 FM and on WFUV Sports YouTube page for live radio broadcasts of every Fordham football game as the Rams continue their quest to their first Patriot League title since 2014.
With a new look offense and veteran leaders on defense, you won't want to miss this. Fordham Football, every weekend on WFUV Sports.
7 minutes to go here in the first quarter of this Patriot League matchup between the hosting Georgetown Hoyas and the traveling Fordham Rams. Still scoreless. Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. Brendan, another special teams play made by Fordham and Georgetown, now with a mighty task in front of them, having to go almost all down the entire field for this one.
Yeah, you definitely set up this Georgetown offense way back. They're inside their own 10-yard line. That's a place where, as an offense, you have to be careful with your play calls, with your decision-making, and we'll see that on this drive, but you set your defense up so well with a very long field for Georgetown to drive down.
Now Des Thomas goes out there with the Georgetown offense. Not super successful in their last couple drives, but they've had a few successful plays. It's about staying consistent for them.
Yeah, it's about consistency. You had the long run by Hart on the last drive, but it seemed like that was really the only play that got something working on the first drive. Just a very quick 3 and out. They're searching for something. If they can find something that works against this Fordham defense, then they'll try and exploit that.
Thomas lined up very close to the goal line. Ball on the 8-yard line. Thomas in the shotgun. Savion Hart directly to his left. One receiver on the near sideline. Fakes the handoff. Looks on the near sideline. has his receiver one-on-one. Kibble tries to make the grab, juggles with it, and eventually drops it. Great play in the secondary. That was Alex Kemper, the all Patriot League preseason player.
This just shows how much trust this Fordham coaching staff has in Alex Kemper. You have two safeties sitting over the top before the snap. After that ball is snapped, the safety on Kemper's side rolls down. That means it's just straight up one-on-one coverage out there between Kemper and Kibble. Kemper does a fantastic job.
Jaden Sumper subbing on for Savion Hart in the backfield. He'll be to the left of his quarterback, Des Thomas. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Two receivers on both sides. Gives the handoff. Sumper up the middle. Through a hole. Knocking off defenders. Clyde Robinson with the helmet off. A couple penalty flags on the field. That one out past the 20 would be a first down. We'll see where the penalty is.
See, Chris, the reason this play works so well is Fordham blitzes off the left side of the offensive line, their right side. When you run the ball away from the blitz, you're running away from all the guys coming at you. It opens up so much, and that's why this run was able to get 10-plus yards.
Coach Joe Conlon on the field discussing with the officials. Official having some trouble with his mic there. And that foul's going to be on the defense. Defensive foul's going to move up Georgetown even more. And the Fordham defense has been playing well but can't get sloppy with penalties.
Yeah, personal foul on that one on Fordham. It adds on to the end of the play there for Georgetown. 15 extra yards added on. They're going to get some good field position.
Wow. Field position changing dramatically there. They're now past the 35. Ball down at around the 36-yard line, their own 36-yard line. Georgetown getting a little help there, moving up the field, and now it's 2nd and 10 after that play. 1st and 10 after that play. Des Bryant in the shotgun, motioning over his receiver, Mahasan. Mahasan gets the ball in the jet sweep, trying to run past defenders around 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, setting up 2nd down.
They love Mahasan on plays like this. Obviously, the punt returner for this team, very quick, very agile, but they run him on these jet sweeps a lot just because of how fast he is at getting around to the edge and picking up some yards.
JUCO product, 4 times over 40 yards this season, 54 yards and a touchdown against Lehigh. And now setting up on 2nd down, 2nd and 8. Ball on Georgetown's own 38-yard line. Bryant in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right. Handoff to Sumper in the backfield. He runs through a cloud of Fordham players and is popped at the end of the play by T.J. Jones II. He comes out right before the 40, and that'll set up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, good job wrapping up here by James Conway on the tackle. Wraps him up and forces a 3rd and long.
Actually, a 3rd and 6 on this play, so ball will be down on the 40-yard line. Georgetown still in their territory. Conway on the tackle there. Conway getting his record. James Conway now the leading tackler, D1 NCAA all-time record for tackles, 578 tackles. A incomprehensible amount of tackles. That's a big 3rd and 6 for Georgetown. A catch on the near sideline. A move made past the 45, down at the 40. First down and then some for Georgetown, the spark they've been looking for.
Yeah, Jamie Kibble there. Again, another guy they keep on targeting. They keep wanting to get the ball to him. He can line up anywhere, this time from the slot. Just runs an out route against man coverage against Drew Minnick. Beats him on the route and then picks up yardage afterwards.
After that play, the ball will be down on Fordham's 40-yard line. Georgetown now in Fordham territory, 1st and 10. Des Thomas. Pandering to you there, Brendan, a little bit. Thomas, 3-step drop. Has lineman running right at him frantically. Tries to get out of bounds. He eventually does. Going to lose some yards on that play. Not a great first down after the big play.
No, not a great first down. You lose yardage on that one there. Peter Chalhoub, the guy, immediately gets through the line of scrimmage and gets pressure on Thomas.
James Conway, after receiving the career tackle record, still 2 away now from the Fordham single-season tackle record. Not only has he encapsulated that ridiculous record of all-time NCAA D1 tackles, he's still completing records for just this season.
A lot of feats being chased here today by Conway.
It's going to be a 2nd and 12 after the loss of yards on that play. Ball on the Fordham 42. Thomas gives the handoff through the right side. Sumper through a hole past the 30, taken down before the 25. First down for Georgetown. More big plays for Georgetown, getting them down the field.
And this one was so well blocked by Georgetown. Hats to hats, find a Fordham defender, get a body on him, block him, open up a hole. That's what they did, and it allowed a big run.
Jaden Sumper really productive in this drive, backup running back, 2 touchdowns on the season, limited role last year, definitely seen more run this season.
Definitely seeing more run, and he's being really efficient with it today.
Ball in the Fordham 29 after the big play, 1st and 10. Thomas fakes the handoff, looks right, throws in the near flat. That pass jumped almost immediately after the catch. Grimes on the catch, the tight end. It'll be around a yard on the gain for the play, setting up 2nd down.
And not a whole lot of room there for Grimes after the catch. TJ Jones does a good job coming up and making the tackle.
TJ Jones been all over the place this afternoon.
He has. He really has.
No gain on that play, setting up, or 3 yards on the gain on that play, setting up second and 7, ball in the 26. Thomas now has Xavion Hart as company in the backfield. Sumper coming off. Hart to the right of his quarterback, 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. 2nd and 7. As I said, ball in the Fordham 26. Hart reverses to the left side. Over the middle, has Hart on a Texas route, taken down inside the 5. Another big pass play for Georgetown. They're right near the end zone now.
Yeah, Fordham dropping into cover 3 zone here. You have a guy occupying the middle safety, and you have Hart just kind of slide up the middle in between a couple of guys, and Thomas finds him up the seam.
After that play, 2 Fordham Rams down on the defense. 1 Fordham Ram laying completely flat on his back on the 5-yard line, and another Fordham Ram holding his head restless in the end zone. Both receiving attention from Fordham Medical.
I'm curious to see who they are. The one in the end zone looks like Drew Minnick, maybe.
I believe it is. I believe I see a number 10.
And the one on the field has just gotten up.
Hard to see numbers here. It's on the far side of the field from us. One in the end zone is Drew Minnick. Both players walking off the field gingerly.
Trey Bradford, it looks like.
Yeah, Bradford needing the assistance of 2 Fordham professionals to get off the field.
And Chris,
Fordham entire huddle looking at their 2 players.
Chris,
a banged-up Fordham team getting even more banged up, Brent.
That's 2 safeties there
Yeah.
for the Fordham Rams that are going out. And that's already with the loss of Boogie Owens earlier this week. Another position now where they're kind of being stretched out thin.
After that play, it's going to be 1st and goal for Georgetown. Ball on the 4-yard line, 4 yards to the goal for the Hoyas. Fordham banged up after that play. They're going to still try to stop this Georgetown defense. Still scoreless, 0-0 in this one. 2:27 to go in the first quarter. Thomas has a guy in motion from the left to the right. Fakes the handoff, takes it himself, and he's in the end zone. Des Thomas gets the touchdown, but there's a flag in the end zone. Some laundry might delay the excitement here at Georgetown.
That flag coming from the ref at the back left pylon. He throws it near where that offensive line is. This one could go either way. But Thomas with a huge hole to run through on that one.
See where the call is. Still not yet received word from the officials. Holding on offense on that play, so it'll take away the nice keeper from Des Thomas in the end zone and move back the Hoya offense. Called there from Tom Zetz, the official.
Yeah, holding on that left side of the offensive line, it allows Thomas to get the edge there and take that one into the end zone. So now they're going to be backed up 10 more and repeat that 1st and goal.
Yeah, Brendan, this offense has gained a lot of momentum in this drive. They don't want to lose that after the penalty close to the end zone.
No, and drives are penalty killers, Chris. They really are. They set you back behind the sticks. They make getting a 1st down. They make it a whole lot harder. Fortunately for them, this one only like a 1st and 13.
After that play, still 1st and goal, now backed up to the 11. So 7-yard lost on that play. Des Thomas takes the snap, has Hart in the backfield, fakes the snap, looks in the end zone, has a man near sideline, touchdown! Hassan Mahassan wide open in the back right corner of the end zone, and Georgetown is the first one on the board this afternoon.
A lot of miscommunication here on the Fordham defense. Mahassan, just a crossing route from the left side to the back right pylon, but nobody picks him up. He ends up wide open in the back corner of the end zone, and Thomas, with one of the easiest throws he's going to make all day.
With 2:05 on the first quarter clock, a lot of scoreless football action, and the Hoyas get on the scoreboard. With Thomas Anderson out there to make it 7 for Georgetown. And he does. Sweeps the left leg. It's good. Georgetown 7-0 lead, 2:05 to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, Chris, finally someone on the board. We saw 4 drives before that go 3 and out, 4 punts early in this game, but Georgetown now able to drive down the length of the field, a long field, mind you. They started that drive inside their own 10-yard line, put together a very long drive, got in the end zone, and we'll see if the Fordham offense can bounce back.
There was multiple big plays there. Savion Hart had a big run. Jaden Sumper had a few big plays. They obviously had the penalty on the Des Thomas keeper, but a lot of momentum not only for that drive, but the rest of the afternoon for the Hoyas.
Yeah, a lot of momentum, a lot of big plays. Chunk plays are the name of the game, Chris, and if you can generate chunk plays that can get you 20 yards, can get you 25 yards, you're going to be able to work efficiently down the field and put more points on the board.
And this Fordham team now going out there offensively needing to respond.
They've had 2 drives that really haven't amounted to a whole lot. Going to need to see someone step up on the offensive side, whether that's one of these receivers that is kind of having to fill in, whether that's Noden Tracy, who's been here all season, needing someone to step up and make a big play.
Thomas Anderson out there once again to kick it off for the Hoyas. Fordham catch that one inside the 5. Taken out past the 15, tripped before the 20, and Fordham will start around the 18-yard line. Fordham wanting a penalty after that play. Some extracurriculars ending up leading to no laundry.
Yeah, an odd return there. Just it seemed like got a little tripped up, and you mentioned how Fordham starting inside their own 20 on this drive.
Fordham starting at the 18 to be exact. Gunnar Smith and his offense trying to respond to the Georgetown touchdown. 1:58 to go in this first quarter. 1st and 10, ball on the Fordham 18. Smith in the shotgun. Got Jamel James directly to his right. Takes the snap. Fakes to James. Looks near sideline. Has Benton. Sprinting past his defender. Drops the pass, but there's a flag. There was major contact before the ball got delivered to Benton. I believe we're going to have defensive pass interference.
Yeah, it looks like the defensive back got a little handsy with Benton on that one, grabbing him from behind. Benton had a step on him, and Benton, so good at getting down the field, leads this team in yards per reception. He's their deep threat kind of guy, and he shows it off there, and I would expect at least a couple more shots to him throughout the game.
It was Brian Lloyd on the penalty, the freshman committing that foul, and it moves the Fordham offense up the field, now at the 33-yard line. Fordham has it on their own 33, 1st and 10. Fordham sends a guy in motion, Troy Worrell. Smith in the shotgun. Claps for the snap. Gives to Lee Lewis right up the middle. Lee Lewis has to hold on to the football tightly. It's getting punched at. He'll hold on to it, but not get many yards on that play. Around a 2-yard gain, setting up 2nd down.
Yeah, and he does a good job keeping his feet moving here. He gets hit about at the line of scrimmage, but keeps his feet moving and picks up a couple.
After that play, it'll be 2nd down. 2nd and 6, 4 yards on the gain for that play. Lee Lewis still in the backfield to the left of Gunnar Smith. He'll fake the handoff. Smith back. Receiving heavy pressure, and he's taken down. Mose got there in a hurry. See that long hair coming out of the back of his helmet, and he gets Gunnar Smith down for the 2nd time this afternoon. Smith slow to get up after that play as well.
Yeah, big sack, the 2nd sack already that Gunnar Smith has taken, and we see athletic personnel, the medical staff, coming out to talk to Gunnar Smith now, Chris.
Yeah, the medical staff going to go check on Gunnar Smith. Came off gingerly after that play. Smith's played every snap for the Fordham Rams this season. Jack Capaldi seen major time the backup last season. Smith's played every down since he's been here with the Rams, since week 1 at Boston College. Smith and the rest of his offense will jog off the field toward the sideline.
Yeah, and you mentioned how much he's played even in these games. You look back at the
Timeout
Boston
taken
College,
on the field. Sorry, go on.
You look back at that Boston College game where the game was out of hand in the 4th quarter, but Coach trusts Gunnar. He says it's Gunnar's team, as Gunnar's going to the medical tent right now. But says it's Gunnar's team, and he let him play even during the blowout.
Yeah. After that play, 3rd and 13. Ball on the Fordham 30. Trip Holly now in there for the Fordham Rams, not Jack Capaldi. 3rd stringer Trip Holly. The threat with his feet now out there for the Rams in the shotgun. He fakes the handoff, takes it himself, taken down almost immediately. Loss of a lot of yards on that play, and that's not a good start for Trip Holly and his season.
No, not a good start.
It's a 4th down and a turnover on downs for the Rams.
It's a great job here by this Georgetown defense. This looks like a read option. Trip Holly has the option to either hand it off or keep it. But this Georgetown defensive line has guys on the running back, also has guys accounting for Holly's legs.
Now 4th down, 4th and 18 after the loss of yards on that play and the sack. Fordham backed up all the way to their own 25. Sansone is there to kick it away. He stands on the 10-yard line. He kicks this one, another booming kick. That one caught past the 30-yard line. A move made at the catch. He now gets to the near sideline, has some blockers, gets past a few defenders, past the 35, taken down right around the 33-yard line. A major return on the punt gives Georgetown fantastic field position to add to their lead.
And you have to talk about the blocking scheme on this for Georgetown. It's one of those plays you know you're going to return it right. You have everyone coming back, and then they set up the lane on the right by blocking guys to the inside, sets up a wide lane for Mahasan. He's able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it was Mahasan, the touchdown scorer, making another big play there. And that's going to be it. After a first quarter here at Cooper Field at Georgetown University, the Georgetown Hoyas, though hosting Georgetown Hoyas, up 7-0 on the Fordham Rams after one. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Max Perlman. Take it away, Max.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Casually takes his third straight MVP and the fourth in his career unanimously. Looking at last night's NBA slate, the Nets fall to a paltry 1-11 with a 105-98 loss to the Magic. But there was better news from MSG as the Knicks won a high-scoring contest with the Heat, 140-132, led by 36 points off the bench from Landry Shamet. The game of the night, however, was a double OT thriller between the Clippers and Mavs, where James Harden became the oldest player ever to record a 40-point triple-double, with the Clippers prevailing 137-133. Another close contest in the Western Conference was between the upstart Spurs and the Elder Warriors, as Steph Curry put up 49 to lead Golden State to a 109-108 victory. And for something to watch tonight, the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, and the 9-2 Nuggets take on Anthony Edwards in the 8-4 Timberwolves. Also, the Bucks taking on the Lakers in another battle between over 500 teams. With your one-on-one scoreboard update, I've been Max Perlman. Back to you, Chris.
Back here at Georgetown University, Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. Second quarter action just about to get started. Georgetown with a major punt return on their last play to get them in great field position to add to their lead, Brendan.
Yeah, Chris, they're already set up inside the Fordham 35 here. A very short field because of the big special teams play, and we saw the offense take advantage of on their last drive, which that one they started inside their own 10, so they've already shown the ability to go down and drive down the field on a long field. Now we'll see what they can come and do with a short field awaiting them.
Hassan Mahasan, 39 yards on that return. That got him out all the way to the Fordham 33-yard line. Really good field position for the Rams. And after a bad drive offensively and then a punt like that, not a lot of momentum for the Rams.
Not a lot of momentum, and a worrying sign seeing Gunnar Smith go off the field hurt. Yeah. The bright side of that, though, is we can see Gunnar Smith on the sideline. Trip Hawley has his blue hat back on with the headset on, and Gunnar Smith is holding his helmet, so it looks like he has been cleared to go back into this game. But still, nonetheless, a worrying sign seeing your quarterback who's played every single down this year go out like that.
And now the Fordham defense goes out there, a tall task ahead of them, 33 yards to the goal line for the Georgetown offense. How did they not let this offense compound this lead?
Well, you can't allow any chunk plays, especially in this side of the field. You got to force this Georgetown team to take anything underneath. Force them to take those 2-yard gains, those 3-yard passes. Don't give up a big one over the top.
Teams flip after the quarter change. Now Georgetown will be going right to left. They're right in front of us here on the Fordham 33-yard line. That's where their drive will start. Des Thomas set up in the shotgun. Has started every game this season for the Hoyas. Moves Hart to his right in the backfield. Receivers on both sides. Takes the snap. Gives to Hart right up the middle. Tries to run behind blockers. Ends up getting tackled from behind by James Conway. Conway one tackle away from the Fordham single-season tackle record.
Yeah, one tackle away. He's so good, and he's part of this Fordham run defense that's been so good. Last week against Bucknell, they only gave up 2.4 yards per carry. They've been so good against the run recently, and we'll see how that's tested today.
After that play, 3 yards gained on that play. 2nd and 7, ball on the Fordham 30-yard line. Des Thomas looking at his sideline for direction. Seems a little confused with his backup quarterback, Jack Johnson. It's always better when they're together, Brendan. Nonetheless, Des Thomas claps for the snap, receives it, fakes the handoff, runs right, past a few defenders, now past the 20, runs out of bounds at the 15. First down on that play by Des Thomas. Des Thomas using his legs to be productive for this offense.
Yeah, Des Thomas would rather go through the air. Like, he's a good passer, but he's athletic enough that he can use his legs if he wants to, if he needs to. This time, a designed run for him off that right side, gets to the edge, and uses his speed to pick up the first.
That Thomas run has Georgetown all the way out to the Fordham 14-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Hoyas. Thomas in the shotgun. Receiver stacked on the near side. One receiver to the right. Thomas claps for the snap. Fake handoff once again. Looks over the middle. Moves up in the pocket. Evading pressure. Now past the 10. Gets taken out of bounds by a Fordham defender. That was Andrew Osman there. Thomas once again showing his threat with his legs. It'll set up 2nd down. 2nd and short.
And fantastic pocket awareness here by Des Thomas. He evades not 1, not 2, but 3 sacks back there in the pocket, moving his feet, finds a hole, and escapes.
That'll set up 2nd down after that play. Thomas continuing to show his threat with his legs. Has to change a lot defending him on the other side of the field.
Yeah, you have to account for his legs. It adds a whole other element to that run game.
2nd and 4 after that play. Ball on the 8-yard line. Fordham's 8-yard line. Thomas in the shotgun, Hart to his right. Man in motion from right to left. Fakes to him and fakes to Hart. Throws to the right flat. Ball is caught and taken down almost immediately. It's tight end on the catch. There's going to be a flag on that far sideline as well, right near the play.
Yeah, right near the play, thrown in the end zone. It looked like maybe in the area of one of those Georgetown receivers.
Get the call here. John Scott discussing with the official, linebacker for the Fordham Rams. Get a call here.
These refs have been having problems with their microphone
a little bit of trouble
day.
with the microphones. Tom Zet's the lead official. More trouble, if you could hear that. Don't know if we'll get a call here from him. We're waiting on it. Not sure if we're going to get it.
It was against the offense.
Yeah, it's going to be
pass interference on the offense.
Offensive pass interference. It'll move back the Georgetown offense. Georgetown with a lot of momentum after a couple plays from their quarterback and the punt return, and they're moved back. They'll now be around the 23-yard line, outside the red zone.
And Chris, 2nd and very long now, sets them way behind the sticks. Definitely kind of hurts that momentum that they had going.
2nd and 19 for Georgetown. Ball on the 23 after that play. Fordham's 23. Right on the precipice of the end zone, and they're pushed back. Thomas now waiting with his hands on his hips for the officials. A little bit slow in between plays here.
Fans are not happy with that call either, Chris.
And now the teams are moving back again. Spotted wrong, and Georgetown will move back up again. I think there's a foul on the Rams there that maybe... What's going on, Brendan? I have no idea, to be completely honest with you.
A bit of a confusing situation. It looks like they're going to wave the flag now at this point. It looks like it's going to be 3rd and
They called the flag, they re-spotted the ball, and then they waved the flag away. Something I've truly never seen before. After that deliberation, ball on the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal on the 5-yard line. Handoff to Hart. Another flag on both sidelines, the near and the far sideline. 3rd down, Martin controversy here. We'll see the call.
And I imagine both refs were seeing the same thing. Those flags flew out as soon as that ball was snapped. They didn't stop it, so it's not going to be a false start. Offsides on the defense.
Offsides on the defense. Fordham not helping themselves defensively. Georgetown's going to get even closer to the goal line and a 1st down.
Yeah, it's going to set them up 1st and goal from
I think the 2-yard line. 2-yard line or the 1-yard line. I believe it's going to be spotted on the 2. Ball spotted on the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for the Hoyas. Thomas in the shotgun has a lineman in front of him at fullback. It's going to be Thomas trying to take it himself. Goes out wide, far sideline, gets inside the pylon for a touchdown. Des Thomas sneaks inside the pylon, touchdown, but another flag in the end zone. Thomas was called back on a rushing touchdown earlier. Might be called back again.
Andrew Osmond, linebacker for Fordham, is trying to chase Thomas outside. He gets held by the man blocking him, allows him to not be able to make a play. That's why Thomas is able to get that edge so easily. And another flag that's going to set back this Georgetown offense.
Yeah, so no touchdown on that play. The Hoyas are pushed back once again. It's been a game of tug of war on this drive so far. And Georgetown pushed outside of the 10-yard line.
Flag on the offense, flag on the defense. Fans not happy about any of these calls.
Fans getting restless around us. Ball spotted finally at the 11-yard line. That's where Georgetown will have it. 1st and 11. They'll have a new set of downs, but they're at the 11-yard line. 11 yards to the goal line. Des Thomas in the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Hart, runs out left, being chased by Osman, gets pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line, around 6 yards on that gain. A decent first down, setting up second down.
Yeah, and Fordham brings pressure off both sides here, but again, Thomas, using his athleticism, was able to escape outside to the left, and Osman's finally able to chase him down.
Thomas, even with the scrap play, getting a few yards on that play. 4 yards, gets them to the 7-yard line. That's where they'll be for second and goal. Some substitutions from both sides. Drew Minnick, after the injury, back out there along with Trey Bradford, both players that were injured on a play a few drives ago. Good to see them back out there. 2nd and 7, 2nd and goal. Des Thomas in the shotgun, motioning a man on the left. Fakes the handoff to Hart, going left, now going right, throw in the end zone, he'll go out of bounds, threw that one out of harm's way after receiving heavy pressure from the Fordham D-line. Flag on the near sideline.
Yeah, again,
Another
Chris,
flag, Brendan.
Flag was thrown as soon as the
play
ball
we've
was
seen
snapped.
without a flag, Brendan.
It's been a few minutes, and there's one on each side too, Chris, and they were both thrown immediately. One ref just looked at Coach Conlin, and it looked like Conlin declined. So this one's going to be a decline penalty on Georgetown.
That'll be a penalty on Georgetown that Fordham declines. They'll take the 3rd down instead.
My imagination says illegal formation.
It would move back Georgetown, but also would give them the 2nd down back. Conlin elects not to do that. He'll stay with the 3rd and 7 situation he's currently in. 3rd and goal, ball at the 7 for Georgetown. Big play here for the Georgetown offense, trying to compound on their lead with a 2nd touchdown. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Back up Sumper, directly to his left in the backfield. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Thomas takes the snap, receives pressure almost immediately, thrown to the back of the end zone, and Justin Johnson almost there through his hands. That'll be another flag in the backfield. Not sure if that play will even count.
And that one, these Fordham linebackers timed that up perfectly. Both James Conway and Andrew Osman were able to get through the line as soon as that ball was snapped. I don't know how they were able to time that snap so perfectly. But Thomas had absolutely zero time back there in the pocket, and James Conway went over to Andrew Osman afterwards, gave him a tap on the helmet.
Seems to be confusion almost everywhere on the field from both sidelines. That foul is going to be on Georgetown, and it's going to move back the offense again.
And that one's going to be a chop block on Georgetown, on Andrew Osman.
Oh, wow.
You can't go that low against someone. They went below the knees there. And so Andrew Osman, who had a free rush of the quarterback, is going to force that penalty, and now Fordham facing their defense at least, a 3rd and very long, a big time here for them to step up.
Yeah, so stays 3rd down on the field, moves back the Georgetown offense. They're now down at the 21-yard line, past the 21-yard line, in between the 21 and the 22. That's where they'll have it for 3rd and goal. Georgetown has to get all the way to the goal line. 3rd and 22. Thomas in the shotgun, takes the snap, 2-step drop, moves left to avoid pressure. Now moves right, spins in the backfield, penalty flags in the backfield. Thomas still on his feet in the backfield, finally throws, has a receiver, it's incomplete. Good play in the secondary to knock that one away. Chaos everywhere continues in this game.
Yes, so much chaos, Chris.
They did not convert the 3rd down, but another flag on the field.
Another flag.
And another Fordham defender on the field. This time Colby Spencer, the D lineman, sitting on the ground hurt.
And Chris,
Brendan.
This play, Thomas scrambles left, and that's where we get the flag.
Yeah.
Trevor Swan is going to get called for a hold here on Colby Spencer. Basically grabs him, throws him all the way around, and tackles him. That's where the injury also comes from. And Coach Cullen's going to decline this. You're going to have a 4th and long here for Georgetown coming up.
Brendan, anything after the first quarter stoppage, the end of the first quarter, it's been just chaos here on the field. And not what we would call smooth football by any means.
And Chris, I think we've genuinely seen more plays with a flag than without a flag this quarter.
Definitely here in this second quarter, without a doubt. As Brendan said, they're going to be back at just as they were, but now fourth down, 4th and 22. They'll have the kicking unit out there as they'll try to add 3 more to their 7-0 lead. 11:05 to go in this first half. Georgetown with a 7-0 lead. Thomas Anderson set up the 28-yard line. The holder at the 28-yard line. Anderson waiting to kick this off, the sophomore. Sweeps the left leg, gets it to go in the air, and it's good. Anderson, no good. Anderson doesn't get it to go. It's wide right, and the Fordham Rams get a little bit of luck toward the end of a very bizarre drive.
Yeah, and that all comes back to where this Georgetown offense was backed up because of penalties. Listen, yeah, you're inside the 30-yard line, but there's no guarantees when it comes to making field goals, and this time the 38-yarder has the leg, absolutely has the leg, just wide right, and you mentioned it, Fordham lucking out a little bit on this one.
And now the Fordham offense coming back out there, Brendan, inspired, have to be in a better mojo than they were a drive ago.
Yeah, and you look at the field position that this Georgetown team started with, and to be able to hold them to no points on that drive has to be something that kind of motivates this offense to get down the field, to go get something going and start building something to try and match this Georgetown offense.
Fordham going to have it on their own 22-yard line, still scoreless, haven't gotten anything really productive out of these offensive drives. There's been some glimpses, but it all starts and ends with their quarterback, Gunnar Smith, who we believe will be out there for this next drive.
Yeah,
didn't finish the last drive. Trip Holly came in after he was banged up on a sack play.
Yeah, and Gunnar Smith had his helmet. Trip Holly had the blue hat back on, that one of those different colored hats that the Fordham backup quarterbacks all wear. So signs pointed towards Gunnar Smith coming back in. We can see in the huddle right now, Trip Holly still with that blue hat on backwards with the headset on over it. We don't have eyes on Gunnar Smith, but that, to me, is a sign that Gunnar Smith will be coming out on this drive.
And one of the biggest themes, Brendan, we talked about pregame was the lack of depth at wide receiver. A lot of new guys and guys taking on new roles in that wide receiver core. So far this game between Jack Benton, Troy Worrell, it's been a decent amount of production, especially for what's out there.
Yeah, and Jack Benton has been kind of the guy. Obviously, we mentioned earlier how he's the deep threat kind of guy for this Fordham team, and he's been the guy that's kind of given the most production. A couple of deep targets, ends up drawing a pass interference on one of them, but I would love to see Noden Tracy get going and kind of take over that role where you had Jack Freeberg in earlier this season, but now Noden has to step up and kind of take on that role, and I would love to see him get going here on this drive.
Noden Tracy, really the only guy with any sort of role in this wide receiver room coming into the season. He had 2 touchdowns, 59 yards last week against Bucknell. That game didn't go how Fordham wanted it to, but the big plays for Noden Tracy were some of the most positive signs for the Fordham offense last week.
Yeah, and he's a great receiver. He's a great route runner, and that's kind of where one of his strengths is his route running. And we saw him last week, the way he's able to create separation, and he showed it last week with those receptions and the 50-something receiving yards for Tracy. He played great last week. He's played great all season. He came in second on the team in receptions and receiving yards. Just hasn't had a whole lot of production, hasn't done a whole lot today. I would love to see whether it's play calling and scheming him open or Gunnar Smith trying to look his way and get him involved, something where you can get your top guy out there.
Thomas Anderson, the lefty sophomore kicker, misses that field goal, keeps the Georgetown lead at 7-0 Georgetown over the Fordham Rams. 11 minutes to go in this first half. The Fordham offense jogging out there. They'll try to operate here.
And led by Gunnar Smith.
Yeah, led by Gunnar Smith. Jamel James to the right of him in the backfield. Jaden Allen also in the backfield in a fullback role. Smith takes the snap with a clap in the shotgun, takes it himself, and runs through the defense, gets tackled by a few guys, around 2 yards on that gain. That felt like a little bit of a message, Brendan, not only to his sideline, but the Georgetown sideline as well.
I think that's a message from Coach Conlon as well, saying that Gunnar Smith is okay, he's fine, he can still take hits.
After the keeper from Smith, 2nd and 9, ball in the Fordham 23. He fakes the handoff, rolls out left, finds a man. It's caught. Taken down right around the 25-yard line. It'll be around 3 yards on the gain on that play. Gunnar Smith smooth on that play. Just didn't really end up to being anything massive.
No, it didn't end up being a whole lot. John Morris, the freshman tight end on the reception there. Just a rollout play to the left, find a guy open, but 3rd and long now.
Yeah, 3rd and long, as you said, Brendan. Ball still deep in Fordham territory at the Fordham 23. It's going to be 3rd and 7. Gunnar Smith looking to his sideline for direction. Jamel James still in the backfield. 2 receivers to his right, 2 receivers to his left. Jaden Allen to the left in the slot, the tight end. Smith in the shotgun. Snaps back with a clap. Smith, two-step drop. Looks on the near sideline, tries to find Benton. Benton with defenders all over him, and a really dangerous pass from Gunnar Smith, pinballing around a couple defenders and ending up on the ground. No harm, no foul, but a lot of could have happened there, Brendan.
Very dangerous. A lot of hand fighting on that one between Benton and the cornerback. Just a dangerous pass to throw into a very dense area filled with Georgetown defenders.
And Brendan, another 3rd and out for this Fordham offense.
Another 3 and out, another punt from Dominic Sansone. You need to see them start to get something going. Very own. You need to see them start to get something going soon. But this defense is just showing their ability to keep this offense in this game.
Hassan Mahassan, a big punt return earlier. He's back once again for Georgetown. Sansone lets that one go. Flies all the way to past the 30-yard line, a tackle almost immediately. Thought there was a fair catch. There wasn't one. And Fordham, once again, giving their defense good field position. That one past the 30.
I've already given props to him so many times this game, but Drew Minnick there, on the special teams play, he waits for Mahassan. He makes sure to wait until that ball is touched and then wraps him up immediately, not letting him pick up anything after the catch.
Take a little break here from the nation's capital at Georgetown University. At Cooper Field, 7-0 Georgetown, the host lead over the Fordham Rams. 9:50 to go in this first half. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sipple, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Back here at Georgetown University, the beautiful Georgetown University, Cooper Field, draped around some of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen in my life. Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. Brendan, these two teams not foreign to each other by any means. These two teams have played each other a lot of times. This is the 71st meeting between Georgetown and Fordham. Fordham holding a 43-24-3 record over Georgetown all time. They've won 4 of their last 5 over Georgetown, including 10 of their last 12. Fordham is 18-4 against Georgetown since the Hoyas joined the Patriot League in 2001. One more funny tidbit about it. Fordham 21-7-1 at home at Moglia Stadium against Georgetown. They are 14-10-1 at Georgetown on the road, and 1-5 against Georgetown at the Polo Grounds.
The Polo Grounds, a field that was destroyed in the 1960s too, Chris.
Right.
That really just shows the history between these two schools.
Fordham and Georgetown playing a lot of football over the years and all conjoining to this afternoon. Fordham trailing 7-0 over the Georgetown Hoyas. 9:50 to go in this first half. Georgetown trying to compound on their lead here offensively. They'll start on their own 29-yard line. Ball on the 29, 1st and 10. Thomas in the shotgun once again. Hart directly to his right. Sends a man to the opposite side of the field. Handoff, throwing the near sideline, almost picked off. Alex Kemper jumped the route, had the ball in his hands, and it popped out. Alex Kemper almost changing the game there with the play deep in Fordham territory, deep in Georgetown territory.
Alex Kemper read that from the jump. He watched his receiver come 5 yards up and run that hitch route. Alex Kemper started about 7 yards deep, took one step back, and then sprinted upfield to try and make a play.
After the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Ball still in the Georgetown 29. Thomas claps for the snap. Gives it to his running back. Sumper tries to go through a hole on the left. He's met by Andrew Osman. Andrew Osman and Sam Burkle all over.
And Georgetown just trying to run an outside zone here, get their running back out into space, and get their linemen out, trying to just find A-hat to block. But the combination there of Burkle and Osman just defeating their blocks and making tackles.
No gain on that play. Ball still in the 29. Now 3rd down. 3rd and 10. Clock ticking, 9:16 and counting to go in this first half. Thomas takes the snap, 3-step drop, moves to his left, tries to evade pressure, somehow gets it to his running back, Jaden Sumper, around 3 yards in front of him, almost avoiding disaster there. Ends up being a completion, setting up 4th down. Another stop for the Fordham defense. Georgetown bringing out the punting unit now.
And Fordham has to be very thankful for their pass rush on this play. You have Hassan Mahassan, who is wide open, 35 yards down the field. If Thomas has time back in that pocket, he's absolutely hitting Mahassan for a deep strike that would have likely ended up in a touchdown, but the pass rush able to finally get home.
Josh Leff letting that one go for Georgetown. Flies all the way past the 40, bounces past the 30, past the 25, and is going to be down right along the 22-yard line. That's where the Fordham offense will start, at the Fordham 22.
And Mike Donegan, the guy back there for Fordham, he's kind of taken over those punt returning duties as of recent. Before him, it was Jack Freeberg, but obviously Freeberg out with that broken wrist. Before Freeberg, it was Alex Kemper, but then Alex Kemper got hurt. That's why Freeberg stepped up. So a lot of moving parts here in this special teams unit, but now Mike Donegan, the guy.
And after another good showing from the Fordham defense, Fordham offense with another chance. Drive will start on the Fordham 22. Gunnar Smith out there with his offense, 1st and 10. In the shotgun, receivers on both sides. Mel James directly to his left. Smith gives the handoff to James. James right up the middle, tries to power his way through a few defenders, and ends up getting leveled, setting up 2nd down. No gain on that play.
Yeah, just nothing there for Jamel James. This Georgetown defensive line just absolutely clogged every possible hole. There was nowhere for James to go.
That was Damon Narcisi knocking Jamel James off his center of gravity. Be 2nd down after that play. 1 yard gained on that play. 2nd and 9. Ball in the Fordham 23. Smith claps for the snap. Throws it near sideline. Caught by Jaden Allen. 1st down Rams. Fantastic catch on the near sideline, and a flag after the play as well. I believe that one will be on the defense.
That one's going to be on Jack Benton there, downfield ahead of Jaden Allen. An offensive pass interference on him. It looks like he saw that ball was thrown, tried to get blocking a little early, and that one's going to come back.
Benton, the wide receiver, erasing maybe Fordham's best play offensively so far this afternoon, and that'll move Fordham back all the way to their 10-yard line, just ahead of their 10-yard line.
And erasing a great play, a great hands catch there from Jaden Allen. That ball almost tipped, but Jaden Allen just shows so much focus on this one, grabs it, is able to turn upfield afterwards, but obviously coming back.
Momentum goes away. That was built up there after that play, and Fordham will be moved all the way back, ball down on the 11-yard line. 2nd down, 2nd and long for the Rams. 1st down at the 32-yard line. Smith takes the snap. Looks near sideline, finds Benton. Benton makes the catch and taken down immediately at the 25. On 14 yards to gain there, setting up a more manageable 3rd down for the Rams.
Yeah, much more manageable. Gets all of that penalty yardage back that he kind of had suffered for these Rams, and now a 3rd and manageable.
Ball in the Fordham 25, 3rd and 7 for the Rams. Rams trying to get a 1st down. Smith in the shotgun. Jamel James to his right. Takes the snap, looks to pass. Moves up in the pocket, loses the ball. The ball is loose. Believe Georgetown has it in the backfield. Gunnar Smith with another timely turnover for the Fordham Rams. And that is a big play for the Georgetown Hoyas. The Hoyas have it. At the end of that play, it was Dean Mangiacavo with the ball after the scrum, coming out, running, jumping into the arms of his sideline.
And Gunnar Smith here trying to just step up into the pocket. He's feeling pressure coming off that right side, but that Georgetown defensive lineman is able to get a hand in there, and as Gunnar Smith steps up, knocks that ball out of Gunnar's hands, he tries to dive on it right afterwards, but is unable to get it. Georgetown ball.
Fordham with only 1 1st down in this game to Georgetown's 9. Georgetown offense will take over quickly. 6:46 to go in the 1st half. Thomas gives the handoff to Hart, and he's blown up in the backfield. Quick play there by the Fordham Rams. They needed to regain some momentum. That sets up 2nd down. Clock still moving. 6:34 on the 1st half clock.
Peter Shalhoub there with the immediate penetration through this Georgetown offensive line, able to make the tackle in the backfield.
It's now 2nd and 14. 4 yards lost on that play. Ball on the Georgetown 19-yard line. Georgetown defense getting a major turnover Gunnar Smith fumbling the ball in the backfield. They now have great field position. Thomas claps for the snap. Fakes the handoff, takes it himself, bounces it out to the outside. It's going to be tackled before the line of scrimmage. It was Trey Bradford, the safety, getting there quickly. It's going to be another loss of yards for the Georgetown offense. Good job from the Fordham defense after being put in a really sticky situation.
Yeah, great job on the outside here. Each defender coming up, forcing Thomas to try and bounce it just a little further outside, but every Fordham defender trying to get their hat to this ball ended up, again, third and very long now.
Third and long, 3rd and 12 to be exact. Ball in the Georgetown 17. Georgetown trying to get that elusive second touchdown. They've had a field goal blocked on their last offensive drive. Thomas back to pass. Finds a man, far sideline. Won't be a first down. He's taken down around the 10-yard line. Needs around 2 yards for the first down. There's going to be a major injury after that play.
Alex Kemper makes the tackle on this one. Fordham brings almost everyone. They just leave 3 guys back in coverage.
And they get the stop on 3rd down.
And Thomas gets it out quick.
Yeah.
But Kemper comes up, makes the tackle, just throws his shoulder in there and doesn't move at all after making that tackle.
Alex Kemper out last week with injury. The All-PL preseason player, captain for this Fordham defense. Senior, definitely a major leader for this Fordham team. The entire defense looking with their hands on their hips at Alex Kemper. Kemper still not really moving on the ground. A bunch of officials for the Fordham Rams around him. Medical attention around Alex Kemper.
And the medical attention came out immediately. He was very still on the ground after making that hit. Looks like it's going to be an upper body injury at the very least, whether that was the shoulder that he went in and hit with, or if he took a blow to the head, something of that sort.
Fordham sideline transitioning into being on their knees, each player on a knee for Alex Kemper, as I think this entire Fordham team a bit shell-shocked, not only with this, but how it's been the last couple of weeks for this team. A lot of unlucky incidents, a lot of unlucky injuries, just unluckiness around this program that has now led to this.
Yeah, a lot of unluckiness, and you look at just throughout this entire season, kind of the revolving door of players that have gotten starts. And even you look on the defensive side, you look at these captains. Claudia Robinson has missed games. Alex Kemper has missed games.
Jack Lowe, the D-end, is out today.
Jack Lowe is out today. You have defensive backs. These safeties have, obviously we already saw 2 safeties go down today. Fortunately, they came back into the game. And then on the offensive side, you have 4 receivers out today who have been playing roles throughout the season. You have guys on that offensive line who have missed a couple of games.
Kemper now off the turf, receiving a standing ovation from the Georgetown crowd around us, and he'll be walked off with help from a few Fordham medical professionals. A quietness has come upon this Cooper Field crowd. Fordham getting a big stop there defensively. Obviously, a big challenge with the turnover so close in your own territory from Gunnar Smith losing the ball in the backfield on the last offensive possession for Fordham. But Fordham's defense really stepping up there on that drive.
Yeah, and Chris, 4th and 5, this Georgetown team has a decision to make. Do they go for it? We saw them.
They have their offense out on the field in a huddle. We'll see if they stay out there.
We saw them last drive. It was 4th and about 7, 4th and goal from about the 7, and that's when Coach Conlon elected to take the penalty and force a long 3rd down instead, because he was worried they might go for it. Here, a 4th and 5 inside the red zone, inside the 15-yard line, that concern is still there. Do they send the offense back out there and go for it? Because you have 4th and 5, there are so many different things you can do as an offense. You have a running threat at quarterback who can kind of do whatever he needs to do, escape, run for the first down. But you also have such a threat at wide receiver that it's so unpredictable.
The Georgetown offense trotting out on the field. They're going to go for it. 4th and 5. Ball on Fordham's 10-yard line, 10 yards to the goal, 5:22 to go in this first half. This should be a major play from the Georgetown coaching staff if they actually snap this one. We'll see if they do. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Has Supter directly to his right. He snaps it. Looks end zone. Back right. It's caught. Touchdown. Justin Johnson all over the wide receiver, but Brock Beestick still gets it to go. But calm down, everybody around us. There's a flag, Laundry, in the end zone. I know you can't believe it, Brendan. There's a penalty.
Another play with a penalty, Chris.
And a beautiful play there at that. Unfortunate.
And this one's going to be pass interference. It could go either way. It looks like they're going to call it offensively, Chris.
It's going to go on Brock Beestick. Beestick made the catch. It seemed bang, bang on that play. Des Thomas didn't even think about it. Threw it in the back right corner of the end zone. And a fantastic catch gets rubbed away by a really, really bad penalty. More timely penalties for both teams.
And Chris, this one, a lot of hand fighting over there, but Georgetown saying, you know what? Your best corner just went out of the game. Let's test his backup.
Yeah.
And so they do, but Beestick just gets a little too excited and pushes off there in the end zone.
Ball's going to be down on the 26-yard line. Fordham's 26, and Georgetown pushed too far back. They're going to have to kick this one. It's going to be Thomas Anderson kicking this one 42 yards, a 42-yard attempt for the sophomore. The lefty sweeps the leg. It's blocked. Blocked right at the line of scrimmage, and it's caught after the play. It's Nate Lindsey-Gill running it back past the 45, past the 50, taken down at the 45. I dampened my excitement slightly because there was a penalty almost immediately on the block. We'll see if that penalty wipes this one away as well.
Chris, T.J. Jones hit the kicker.
Oh, man. T.J. Jones, the second, by himself, somberly walking off the field to the sideline right now. He might know what you know.
Here's the thing. He was very disappointed after it. Lefty kicker, he hits the left foot, which would be a running into the kicker, a 5-yard penalty, not an automatic first down. In that case, Georgetown would elect to re-kick it. If it is roughing the kicker, which he did kind of sweep both legs out, then it would be 15 yards and an automatic first down. So it's just kind of, at this point, which one of those did the refs see?
Fordham's already had a block on a field goal earlier in this one. They get a block there as well. 2 blocked field goals for the Fordham Rams. We'll see if this one counts. Both teams go to their sidelines. Tom Zetz and the rest of the officials on this one this afternoon in a mini huddle at the 45-yard line discussing.
And Chris, there was a second flag thrown during the return, so Fordham, best case scenario, even if it is blocked and you have that return, it will come back at least yardage-wise.
Call here from the officials. I believe that one's going to go on the Rams. It's going to be a holding call on the Rams. Or it's not, Brendan. What is it, Brendan?
It looks like, by the way, the Georgetown offense is going back onto the field. It's going to be roughing the kicker,
as you said,
on T.J. Jones, first down Georgetown.
Explain that difference one more time.
So running into the kicker is a 5-yard penalty. That's when you hit the kicking leg. So that applies to both kickers and punters. Roughing the kicker applies to when you hit that plant leg. So that one's going to be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Again, same with punters and kickers. It's just the difference of which leg you hit.
A backbreaker for this Fordham defense who got a great stop on 3 downs and then blocked a field goal after a penalty that moved back the Georgetown offense. And now, seemingly, all that work is gone.
Seemingly it is. And Chris, it's so frustrating if you're this Fordham defense because this is the second drive in a row where this Georgetown offense has started inside your own 35-yard line and you held them to 0 points. But now, with that
that's
penalty,
impressive. I mean, regardless of
really
the things
impressive.
around it, that's impressive.
It is really impressive to be able to go out there and do that. But now you gave them a whole new set of downs inside your own 20.
After the array of penalties, Georgetown offense moved back up to the Fordham 12. By array of penalties, I don't mean the whole game. I just mean the last 5 to 10 minutes. Georgetown on the Fordham 12, 1st and 10 for the Hoyas. Des Thomas in the shotgun has backup Sumter directly to his left. He'll hand it off to Sumter. Sumter trying to get through a hole, blocked almost immediately, and that'll set up 2nd down.
And Chris, this is where we can see if this Fordham defense can do the impossible and do it 3 times in a row.
Jalen Evans plugging up that hole. Sumter tried to run through on the right side, and that'll set up 2nd down, 2 yards on that gain, setting up 2nd and 8. Ball down on the 10-yard line for Fordham. Fordham trying to do the impossible, as Brendan said. Get another stop after this field position. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Sumter to his left. Gets the snap, fakes the handoff, throws it, near sideline, touchdown! Threw it in the flat to the tight end. He caught it almost untouched, and Georgetown finally gets in the end zone. They had been banging at the door, Brendan, for a long time, and touchdown end zone dances are happening for the Hoyas.
Chris, Connor O'Neill, the tight end, the senior tight end. Fordham brings pressure off both sides. The defensive back lined up across from O'Neill is coming on a blitz. You have Drew Minnick trying to come from over the top of that safety spot down to cover him, but O'Neill just too quick at that tight end position, is able to catch it and take it to the pylon.
The extra point is away, and it's good. Georgetown Hoyas double their lead here in the second half, 14-0 over the Fordham Rams, 4:14 to go in this first half. We'll take a little break from Cooper Field on the beautiful campus of Georgetown University. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carrino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shadur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports.
Georgetown kicking it off to Rugai. Rugai, a decent return on that one around the 25-yard line. Fordham will start around where the fair catch territory is.
Yeah, solid return there. And again, story of that last drive, Chris, the special teams unit going out. They blocked the kick. Obviously, the penalty offset that, but keep looking for this Fordham special teams unit to go out and make plays.
Fordham special unit, along with their defense, playing up to par today. Offense slightly lagging behind. Johan Lee Lewis in the backfield with Gunnar Smith. Smith in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right. Jaden Allen motioning closer to the line. He gives it to Lee Lewis. Lee Lewis up the middle, receives a lot of contact, pushes his way to around the 30. It'll be around a 6-yard gain on first down.
And Chris, that's the most productive first down we've seen from Fordham today.
Truly.
Obviously, you want to be able to establish that run game, but you need, if you're going to run the ball on first down, you need to pick up some yardage. You can't be setting yourself up for 2nd and 10, this time 2nd and 6.
Yeah, some production there on the first down. 2nd and 6 for the Rams. Smith in the shotgun, claps for the snap. Looks near sideline. Evades pressure, moves up in the pocket, past the 35, finally taken down past the 40. Brendan, from your body movement there, you wanted to roughing the passer there at the end of the play.
Gunnar Smith gives himself up on that at the very end. Given he does dive forward, but takes a hit after diving.
First down for the Fordham offense. 1st and 10, ball on their own 41. Smith, 3 receivers to his left, Benton alone on the near sideline to his right. Fake handoff, Smith looking on the near sideline. Had Benton, overthrew him, and it's intercepted. Through the outstretched hands of Benton into the hands almost perfectly of Quincy Briggs. The secondary of Georgetown continuing to make plays. Quincy Briggs, his 5th interception, leading FCS.
Leading FCS, obviously that means leading the team as well, Chris. Quincy Briggs so good in the air, and that's what this Georgetown defense, their calling card has been this season, is their ability to create turnovers. And this time, that pass is a little high for Jack Benton, and Quincy Briggs comes down with it.
Quincy Briggs, the junior cornerback, turning the ball over and giving Georgetown the ball back with a 14-0 lead, now trying to stretch it to a 3-score lead, Brendan. Georgetown trying to create that permanent separation.
Yeah, and Chris, obviously the momentum now very heavily favoring this Georgetown team.
Georgetown offense will start on their own 38-yard line after the interception. Des Thomas in the shotgun, alternating Hart to his right. In the shotgun. Gives it to Wright. Wright running left on the near sideline. Bruising and running through a few defenders. Eventually, it's James Conway at the end of it making that tackle.
Yeah, and Hart has something to say at the very end of that play, talking a little bit of trash after that run.
A little bit of trash after that run. No gain on the play. It'll set up two yards to gain on that play, setting up 2nd and 8. He ran so wide, got a couple yards near the sideline. And now Georgetown will be on their own 40-yard line. 2nd and 8, 2:34 and counting on this first half clock. That one flipped to the right side. It was a halfback toss blown up almost immediately by Drew Minnick in the second level.
And a massive hit there.
That one's going to be a loss of yards.
It is going to be a loss off the huge hit by Drew Minnick. He's able to shed his block so quickly and just lowers his shoulder in the backfield.
4 yards lost on that play. He'll set up 3rd and 12. Another 3rd and long for the Georgetown offense. 2 minutes and counting on this first half clock. It'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning here at Cooper Field on the campus of Georgetown University. Georgetown trying to complete a 3rd and long, 3rd and 12. They're up 14-0 on the precipice of halftime. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
An ugly one so far here at Cooper Field. The hosting Georgetown Hoyas up 14-0 over the Fordham Rams. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Brendan Shorey. A mighty task for the Georgetown offense to stay on the field here, but it's been a mighty task for the Fordham offense all afternoon long, Brendan.
Yeah, it has, and even this last drive, it seemed like they were going to finally get something going. They picked up a first down, but then Gunnar Smith, under pressure, throws one over Jack Benton's head, intercepted by Quincy Briggs for this Georgetown defense. And it seems like they were finally able to get something going. If you're Fordham, you're finally able to get your feet running, get your feet moving on the ground. And then the bad happens. The turnovers happen. And we've seen the fumble earlier, now the interception. It seems like anything they're trying to get going just ends up stopping.
And now Des Thomas and the Georgetown offense trot out there. They're going to have a 3rd and 12. It is so important for Fordham to get a stop here.
Very important. And listen, there's 2 minutes left. You get the ball to start the second half. If you're Fordham, you have a chance to go down and try and double dip.
Ball on the Georgetown 36-yard line. As I said, 3rd and 12. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Sumter directly to his right. Receivers stacked on both sides in the slot. Thomas, phantom clap. Now a snap back. 2-step drop. Throwing near sideline. It's almost caught in and out of the hands of a receiver. It was Isaiah Grimes, the tight end, all by himself, and he just dropped that one. Would have been around a 20-yard completion. Instead, incomplete. And Fordham once again getting a stop defensively.
And Grimes not happy about that drop. Of course he's not, but that would have been a very difficult and impressive catch if he was able to make it. Grimes is running downfield on that left sideline. Has to spin all the way back around. Try and catch it on his back shoulder, just in and out of his hands, and Fordham going to get this ball back.
Fordham forcing Josh Leff and the punting unit back out for the Georgetown Hoyas. Josh Leff standing on his own 20-yard line to kick this one off. He does with his right foot. A flag on the play. As soon as that one was kicked off, fair catch taken at the 25-yard line. We'll see what that flag's on.
Yet another flag, Chris. How surprised are you?
That ball soaring through the Gothic and modern architecture here, the scenery, and as that one flew, I saw the flag fly almost at the exact same time.
We'll see who this is on.
It's going to be offsides on the defense. Number 46 declined, and that one won't have much bearing on the preceding action.
Now Georgetown's happy with the punt. They just punts it away. They're happy with the field position they gave Fordham, so no need to repunt it and risk any sort of return from Donegan.
And we just talked about, Brendan, the importance of getting that stop defensively. Maybe now even more important, capitalizing on it with a score.
Yeah, you hope that it was translate from defense to offense, and that whatever stops this defense makes can kind of translate into some sort of energy for this offense. we'll see if Gunnar Smith can bring that out this drive.
1:46 left in this half for Gunnar Smith to work. 1st and 10, ball in his own 26. Smith in the shotgun, drops back to pass, tries to find Worrell over the middle, in and out of his hands. More drop passes on both sides offensively.
Yeah, and that one, a bit on both guys. That throw a little ahead of Worrell, but just a little bit through his fingertips. He was going to get hit right afterwards, though. Probably that thought was in his mind.
Incompletion on that play. 2nd and 10. Ball still on the 26. Smith drops back to pass. They're moving quickly. Throws it over the middle. Caught by Noden Tracy. Fantastic catch by Tracy over the middle. It's going to be a first down past the 50, and Fordham's moving. Clock's still moving as well.
And Tracy finally getting involved today, Chris.
1:32 and counting on this first half clock. Ball now down on the 37 after that completion. Smith in the shotgun, working quickly, drops back to pass, moves up, avoiding pressure, throws it near sideline, caught by Benton. Another completion for the Rams. Back-to-back completions for the Rams past the 50. Another first down, and the Fordham chains are most definitely moving.
And that one just scramble drill there. Benton coming back, finding Gunnar. Gunnar finds Benton near the sideline.
Back-to-back first down completions for the Rams. Ball now down at the 50-yard line. Refs are going to take a stoppage for a second. Officials needed a second. Now they got it. Getting the clock in order. 1:16 left to go in the first half clock. Ball down at the 50. 1st and 10. Smith drops back to pass. Throws it in the near flat. Jamel James tries to hurdle a defender, and he's tackled past the 50, around 2 yards on that gain. Fordham going to continue to try to move quickly. It was Cooper LaFawn, the offensive lineman, a little banged up after that play.
Yeah, and Fordham going to take a timeout, partly because of that, another part because Jamel James was tackled inbounds on that play, but just gives a chance for LaFawn to kind of get back into it, get up, make sure he's all right, work his issue out. Also stops the clock. Fordham, very efficient on this drive so far.
Yeah, very efficient. As efficient as we've seen them all afternoon so far on this drive. First timeout used by either team on that Fordham timeout. The two completions on first down specifically seem to be the most momentum offensively Fordham's had in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it certainly has, Chris. And pretty much back-to-back, you have the one to Noden Tracy, which kind of gets your drive jump-started. And then Gunnar Smith uses his athleticism, breaks out of the pocket, but stays behind that line of scrimmage so that he can find Jack Benton.
It's going to be 2nd and 9 after that play from Jamel James in the flat. Ball on the 49-yard line. They're a yard north of Fordham territory. 2nd and 9. Smith takes the snap, throws it in the left flat to Lee Lewis. Lee Lewis going past a few defenders, taken down finally at around the 40. I believe it'll be another first down and another chain-moving opportunity for the Rams. 3 first downs for the Rams in this drive.
Yeah, and
Fordham had 1 first down prior to this.
Yeah, and they set up a screen pass here for Johan Lee Lewis. 3 offensive linemen pulling, blocking for him. He's able to use those blockers, pick up the first, and now a Georgetown defender down on the field. Georgetown's going to have to use one of their timeouts.
Yeah, it's going to be an injury timeout. Georgetown obviously not wanting to use a timeout there, but they're forced to. Injury bug, not only pertaining to Fordham, it's been all players so far this afternoon. He's set up on that far sideline, ironically close to the Fordham huddle. He's getting attention from 3 to 4 medical professionals from Georgetown. 58 seconds to go in this first half. Not a lot of time for Gunnar Smith and his offense to operate, but if there was a time to do it, it'd be right now. They are as productive, as moving the football as they've been all afternoon long.
Yeah, Chris, not a whole lot of time left, but kind of the flip side of that is enough time where you want to use more of this time so you don't give Georgetown a chance. So 58 seconds on the clock.
Didn't have to use a timeout there as well.
Didn't have to. You got the clock stoppage. Obviously, it's going to start on the whistle here, but a chance to line up before that. A big chance here to go down, make a few plays, and you have 2 timeouts in your back pocket still.
Ball in the Georgetown 40 after that play. 1st and 10 for the Rams. 58 seconds, as we said. Fordham playing against the clock and Georgetown here at the culmination of the first half. Officials just double-checking with each other, not sure what they're discussing. There's 3 huddled on the Georgetown logo at midfield. Rest of the Fordham offense standing around waiting to get this one going. As I said, 58 seconds to go in this first half. Still a 14-0 lead for the Georgetown Hoyas. Fordham trying to cut into that lead slightly. Smith in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. Takes the snap. Looks near sideline. Avoids pressure. Running right. fakes the throw, continues to run past the 40, runs out of bounds at the 35, around 5 yards on that gain. Even when nothing seemed to develop, Gunnar Smith not taking no for an answer, staying productive offensively.
And Chris, even after he escapes here on this one, he's scrambling right towards his throwing arm. If he keeps his eyes downfield, he has Jack Benton going towards the back corner of the end zone. But at that point, when Benton finally broke free, Gunnar Smith had already tucked that ball.
Gunnar Smith back in the shotgun, claps for the snap, looks over the middle, finds Troy Worrell. Troy Worrell catches it past the 30. Clock still moving. 43 seconds on the clock. First and 10 after that play. First down for the Rams. Ball on the 30-yard line. Georgetown's 30-yard line. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Back to pass. Over the middle. Just two ahead of his wide receiver, Noden Tracy. An incompletion there after a long run of success for the Fordham offense. They slightly stopped.
Yeah, Chris, just another half second there. Noden Tracy is wide open coming across the middle. But Gunnar Smith doesn't have that half a second because he waits another half second to throw that ball. He's on the ground back there in the pocket with this Georgetown defense on top of him.
Fordham still seriously playing against the clock here. 33 seconds to go in the first half. It's now a second down. Second down from the Georgetown 30. Ball down exactly at the 30. Smith back to pass in the shotgun. Looks near sideline. Throws it to James in the flat. James met by a defender. Gets out of bounds. Believe that'll stop the clock. Not a gain on the play, but will stop the clock. The biggest goal for the Rams here.
Yeah,
26 seconds left in the clock.
He goes backwards, Chris, which obviously not ideal, but you mentioned it. He gets out of bounds. He stops the clock. You have 26 seconds. If you're able to pick up a first down here, you can call a timeout.
Still 2 timeouts left for this Fordham team. After that play, it's 3rd and 10 Rams. Big third down for the Rams. Smith back to pass. Moves up in the pocket. Throws far sideline. Finds Noden Tracy. Tracy catches it. It's a first down past the 20. Taken down at around the 16-yard line. And believe it'll be a timeout from the Fordham offense. Yeah, timeout, Joe Conlon and the Rams. Rams having their most productive drive of the afternoon just at the culmination of the half.
Yeah, that one, a great job by Gunnar Smith stepping up, finding that gap in those passing lanes, those pass rush lanes, steps up, but keeps his eyes down the field and is able to find Noden Tracy on the far sideline.
What a throw.
On a beautiful throw, cross body, finds him on the left sideline just past the sticks, and now Fordham set up with a first down in the red zone.
Yeah, after one of Gunnar Smith's best plays of the season, Fordham now set up first down, 1st and 10, ball on the 18-yard line on Georgetown's 18-yard line, 18 yards to the goal line. 14-0 lead still for the Hoyas. Fordham trying to cut into that. 19 seconds left to go in the first half for the Rams. Rams with 1 timeout. They have to be conservative with how they use it. Only 1 left. And a timeout from Georgetown now, too. Get a little bit of an extended timeout. Georgetown needed more time to talk it over.
Yeah, if you're Georgetown, you have 3 timeouts. You might as well.
Can't take them with you.
No, you cannot. You might as well take them now. Talk things over, figure out some sort of game plan for what you think Fordham's going to throw out there.
And Fordham, for all intents and purposes, especially to stay honest, has not played the cleanest first half. Has played a relatively sloppy first half. But with the score here, especially a touchdown, a lot of those negative things they did in the first half can be wiped away.
Yeah, they can, and that's especially because they get ball coming out in the second half.
Yeah.
They deferred at the beginning of the game. So, obviously, 19 seconds left. You're in field goal range. You're in Bennett Henderson's range right now. If you're able to punch it in, that'd be great. You could go touchdown here and try to double dip when you come out in the second half. But even a field goal here, just put something on the board.
You said Bennett Henderson range, the kicker for this Fordham team. Fordham with the ball down at the Georgetown 18-yard line. Now in the red zone, 1st and 10 for the Rams. 19 seconds left to go in this first half. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Jamel James directly to his left. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Noden Tracy by himself on the far sideline. Looking near sideline, Smith, back right end zone. That one thrown way too far ahead of Troy Worrell, and that one incomplete. Not a chance of being complete.
Yeah, Gunnar Smith just steps back, and he senses immediate pressure, so he knows he has to get that ball out quick, and he tries to throw it somewhere where Worrell will have a chance to go and get it. This one just falls incomplete.
Didn't waste too much time on that play. Still 14 seconds left to go in this first half. Ball still on the 18-yard line. 2nd and 10 for the Rams. Rams trying to desperately get in the end zone. Smith in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. Troy Worrell by himself on the near sideline to the right. Smith fakes the handoff, looks to throw, and is destroyed in the backfield. Multiple Georgetown D linemen get to him, and it's a sack for Georgetown, and a timely sack at that.
Naitete Mose with the immediate hit there on Gunnar Smith.
Fordham called the timeout after that play, 8 seconds remaining after that sack, and I believe Bennett Henderson and the kicking crew will come out for the Rams.
You got two options here, Chris. You can either go ahead and kick it.
Timeout called by the Rams as well.
They just added 1 more second to the clock, so now sitting at 9 seconds.
You can't really get another play.
You can get one play, and what that play is, it's a shot to the end zone. There's nothing else you can do. You're not throwing this. You're already in field goal range. There's no need to pick up an extra couple of yards at the sideline. You're taking a shot at the end zone here, maybe take 5 or 6 seconds off the clock, and then you're kicking it, or you can just go ahead and kick it, which it looks like they're opting to do.
As I said, Fordham desperate to get on the scoreboard, down 14-0, 9 seconds to go in this first half. Fordham not playing well of late. Lost a lot of games in a row. Trying to flip the script here at the nation's capital. We Bennett Henderson with Will Haslett holding for him, set up just past the 30. Call it the 31. That's where Henderson will kick this one from. The whistle's on the line, and another timeout from the Georgetown Hoyas. As we said, can't take them with them.
Now this one just probably an attempt to ice Bennett Henderson. They know he's a young kicker. To call a timeout, try and get some nerves going in him, hope that he can miss it.
And as I said, Fordham has had a really rough stretch of play, especially recently. They've lost 5 straight. Their last win coming against Holy Cross at home. A tough game last week against Bucknell. A closer one against the Richmond Spiders at the Richmond Spiders. They were in that one for almost the whole game, but 5 in a row has to have your team in a certain negative place.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Momentum is a big thing in sports, and obviously no momentum for them there.
Bennett Henderson trots out for the kick. 9 seconds left to go on the game clock for the first half. 9 seconds left to go in this first half. 14-0. Georgetown lead. This ball's kicked from the 31-yard line. Will Haslett to hold. Henderson on the kick. Sweeps the right leg. Will it go? No good. Called no good under the end zone by the officials, and that's missed free throws on both sides for both of these teams, and that is not the way the Fordham Rams wanted to end the half.
And Chris, that
really,
one
also really short in general. Pylons up there, just in general, it's hard to tell, especially from far away here, if it's good or not. Only one official called for it to be not good. The other official didn't make a call at all.
And Chris, it doesn't help that both these kickers on their misses, they have both huge legs, so their field goal attempt went way over those pylons, those uprights. The field goal attempt was so much higher that it made it harder.
And the Georgetown offense, Des Thomas in the Georgetown offense will kneel this one away, and that's it for our first half here at Georgetown. At Cooper Field at Georgetown University. Georgetown, the hosting Hoyas, up 14-0 over the Fordham Rams after a first half here in the nation's capital. Brendan, down 14-0 going into the half, but the Fordham Rams, for all intents and purposes, in that one all the way until the end.
Yeah, and you had that drive you just put together at the very end that you need to kind of take from and rely on when you come out in the second half. You get ball first, but you need to take a lot from that drive, what worked, and implement that in the second half.
From the beautiful campus of Georgetown University, that was our first half. Georgetown up 14-0 over the Fordham Rams going into the locker room. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for a halftime report from Gabby Price and Max Perlman. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome in to the Rose Hill Studio here at Fordham University in the Bronx. It's the one-on-one halftime show. The score is 0 Fordham, 14 Georgetown. I'm Gabby Price, joined by Max Perlman today. But before we get into this first half, Max has another update for us.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
All right, thanks, Gabby. Last night on Rose Hill, Fordham's men's basketball dropped a tight matchup with Iona 76-71, despite C.J. Anthony's 22 points as they draw to 500 at 2-2. Looking at men's basketball this week around the A-10, Rhode Island beat Albany 80-61. George Washington beat American 107-67. VCU over St. Peter's 78-61, and St. Bonnie over Siena 75-66. while St. Joseph lost to Virginia Tech 94-59. Loyola dropped one to Wichita State 95-74. More positively, women's basketball took down Stony Brook 58-52 on Wednesday, led by 20 points from Alexis Black to move to 3-1. For the women of the A-10, St. Bonnie beat Canisius 66-61. VCU beat Maine 81-77, and in a battle of the Georges, Mason beat Town 61-54, while LaSalle lost to Temple 75-54, and Rhode Island dropped to Rutgers 68-63. In this week's other Fordham sports news, nationally fifth-ranked water polo took down Brown 23-13, while men's soccer sustained their first conference loss to date in 2-1, but still sit second in the A-10. Both men and women's cross-country had their season come to a close yesterday at the NCAA Northeast Regional, finishing 29th and 35th respectively. With your one-on-one update, I'm Max Perlman.
Thank you, Maxwell. Again, the score at halftime between the Rams and the Hoyas is 0-14. Georgetown has the upper hand. A lot happened in this first half. Big plays were a little and far between for Fordham, but James Conway has made NCAA history, passing the all-time NCAA tackle record. He's been a bright spot for Fordham all afternoon. The other big plays for Fordham, they had 2 blocked field goals, 1 in each quarter, but only one was successful in terms of being able to get their team the ball back. Their blocked field goal in the second quarter got a penalty. Ultimately, ball back to GW, touchdown for them. Georgetown has scored 2 touchdowns, both thrown by Des Thomas. First one to Mazison in the first quarter, then O'Neal in the second quarter. So, Max, this has been a hectic first half, to say the least. A very long one, too. There's a lot to look at here, so I just want to throw it to you first. What do you think is the story of this game today?
I think the story so far is that Gunnar Smith has as many pass attempts, which as there have been penalties in this game, which is 17. Oof. So kind of a disturbing statistic for anyone who has to watch and experience this game. Just like a complete lack of discipline from the offense on both sides of the ball. The Georgetown offense could easily be up 3 or 4 scores right now, but a couple blocked field goals, special teams playing really well, has prevented a complete blowout at half, which is fortunate. On the Fordham side of the ball, again, consistent with the rest of the year, just completely unable to move the ball on the ground. Negative 15 rushing yards cumulatively, just absolutely just paltry statistic. You saw at the end there, they had that nice 30-yard chunk play running the shotgun out of the no huddle. So, look, maybe that's the answer. You run a little more of just lean into the passing offense, because the running has been absolutely atrocious, unfortunately.
Yeah, you talk about the Fordham offense. This was, as you mentioned, this has been a theme all season, that this is a team that likes to run the ball, but they're not very good at it. And Gunnar Smith he can make passes. We saw this last week. I think it was in the second half where he finally got his passing game going, and Fordham was able to move down the field. They might not have been able to get couple touchdowns, but they were at least able to get the ball in the field goal, get themselves on the board, which they have not done yet today. They had that chance at the end of the first half, but Henderson missing the field goal. It just feels like there's a lot of missed opportunities for Fordham. Like you said, they're playing very sloppy. So I would really like to see Gunnar Smith start throwing the ball a little bit more. He's been sacked a couple times, which doesn't necessarily help them, but guys also just haven't been open for him.
Of course. That's part of the issue. Gunnar Smith is having a great year, just looking at the stats. He is in the FCS, he's 22nd in passing yards per game, and for a first-year starter, you love that. Like, he's not the problem here. Obviously, the negative 15 yards rushing is very unfortunate, but when he has no time to throw and his receivers are not open, it's going to be difficult to really lean into the strength of the offense, which all season has been the passing. Defensively, they have just. If we want to talk about Georgetown's offense, which has been, they've had a little more success, but they have just been completely hampered by the penalties. There was towards the end of the half, there was about the 2-minute warning was called, and it took about 15 minutes to get to the end of the half because of the amount of penalties, and Georgetown was in the red zone and they just could not could not convert at all as a result of poor passing plays, and just successive penalties. That was just comical to watch. And yeah, like there's been plenty of potential turning points at the game that have just not come to be because of a penalty or a lack of a lack of execution on both sides. It's just not. It's been just quite sloppy football, as you could probably tell by the score and the box score.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned those penalties for the Georgetown offense specifically. Georgetown, if they got themselves into, if there was not a flag on those plays, if there wasn't a penalty on those plays, they should have 18 more points than they do, which is just crazy to think about. And Fordham has not been able to get on the board at all, like separating these two offenses. It's just kind of unbelievable the amount of penalties that we're seeing. Brendan and Chris were saying it on the call as well. It's very sloppy out there on both sides. But, you know, if you're a Georgetown fan or if you're a member on this Georgetown team, you should have way more of a lead than you do. And you have a significant lead right now. That being said, Fordham is playing pretty good defense. The score, we just said, maybe the score should be a little bit more, but special teams specifically making a couple really good plays, not all of them going in favor of the Rams, but a positive to take away from this first half for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, defensively, yeah, it's been better. They have 36 tackles, which just goes to show like the amount of plays that are being run because they're just on the field for so long, because the offense is just completely the offense is 1 for 6 on third downs. That's just not remotely a sustainable way of football. Thankfully, Georgetown is 1 for 7 on third downs. So just very brutal offensive game to watch. I mean, yeah, Fordham averaging 1.9 yards per play. I mean, man, that is just hard to look at. And yeah, both teams have had over 50 penalty yards, and it's just like, man, like hopefully for the sake of the viewers at home, that one viewer, the one Georgetown fan I keep hearing, he's having a great time, but for everyone else, I do hope that the offense, both teams could go back to the locker room and figure something out to, you know, play a little more clean brand of football.
Yeah, maybe a couple less stops in there as well, stop it for the game. But another thing that we've kind of seen on both sides of the field for this game today is injuries. Oh. Gunnar Smith went out after a sack, after he got sacked by a Georgetown player. He did come back in, which is huge for Fordham. As you said, he's very important to this Fordham offense. So definitely lucky that he still is in the game today. Not that, you know, Trip Hawley as the backup, he had a couple plays in there, but not something that you would necessarily want, especially at this point in the season with this half and then another game left. You don't want him to go down now.
Yeah, no. When Gunnar Smith went down, Trip Hawley had to came in. There was a pit in your stomach there. I mean, they didn't, in the plays Trip Hawley had, they didn't let him pass the ball, and he had one rushing attempt for -5 yards. So, I mean, look, obviously we need to see Gunnar Smith out there for any chance of, you know, staging a comeback and, you know, moving the chains, which is a massive struggle. Yeah, I mean, it is brutal though that, like, you know, it feels like as soon as Smith went down, it's like you realize just how integral he is to like any hope you have of moving the ball down the field. So I don't know. Hopefully they can figure it out. I don't know. It's all they can do.
Yeah, and then even on the defensive end, Alex Kemper was getting medical attention. Yes. Another player that you do not want to see hurt. He's been so important to Fordham, not just today. He's made a couple big plays, but all season he's been a very reliable defensive tackle for Fordham. So hope both these guys are okay, whether they play through injuries or not. We obviously, Fordham fans want to see them on the field, but obviously at this point in the field, getting injured is not ideal to say the least. But looking back maybe at this second quarter specifically, couple crazy drives from both teams. Georgetown missed a 39 field goal attempt as well. So when we talk about missed points, Max, it just, both teams are just missing easy opportunities.
Yeah, no, the score should definitely look a lot different than it does. I think there's no doubt about that. I mean, Fordham, yeah, they for sure they could have used those 3 points at the end of the quarter, but yeah, no, we already brought this up. The 18 points that Georgetown easily could have converted on, but was stopped by penalty or a nice Fordham play in the secondary, whatever it was. Yeah, no, it's you really hope that these teams can, like, you know, figure out how to be efficient just for, you know, 30 more minutes. I mean, Fordham, obviously the course of their season 1-9 isn't great, but yeah, Georgetown 5-5. Both these seasons have 2 games left. You know, there's you know, less to play for. But like we'll see how we do. I don't know. It's 14-0. It's not as exciting as I wish it was. It's okay.
And yet, still a lot happening throughout this game. Yeah. They're keeping it exciting, just not in the way that we necessarily want to, I guess. But as we kind of look ahead to the second half, what do you think Fordham specifically should really hone in on?
I mean, yeah, I think that you saw the no huddle actually be able to, the more quicker offense at the end of the quarter, or at the end of the half, actually be able to make it up the field. So more of that. Obviously, lean into the passing. Hopefully, Gunnar Smith is 100%. Obviously, it's kind of brutal to like put it on him after he's already, you know, had medical attention in this game. I mean, yeah, James Conway. Hopefully, pad the stats, get more tackles. I mean, we don't want to see these records broken anytime soon. Like the name of the guys he's passing is like Boomer Grigsby and Carlton Marshall. Like those are names that's cool to be against. So yeah, like 600 tackles. That probably won't come in this game, but that would be crazy if he could scratch that. Yeah, more passing. Hopefully, less penalties. Although it is kind of funny. It is funny to watch just how it is, like, just ravage both teams. Yeah, it's efficient, clean football from both sides. Clean football.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for me, I agree with you 100% about Gunnar Smith and the passing. Would like to see him be a little bit more efficient on the passing game. And, you know, obviously accompanying with that, would like to see his receivers get open more, around the Georgetown defense, which they've only been doing an okay job of doing. But I think getting a more efficient passing game going could get Fordham on the scoreboard, which for any Fordham fan that's listening right now would love to see happen. And then, again, cleaner football, especially I think on scoring plays.
Yeah, red zone.
Even if it's for Georgetown, let's see some scoring plays that actually will count in this game. But yeah, a very bizarre first half, very long first half. We'll see how this second half kind of shapes up here. Fordham can get anything going offensively, but that is all we have time for on the halftime show. Max and I will be back for the post-game show immediately following the conclusion of the game. But for Max Perlman, I've been Gabby Price, and we will send you back to DC with Brendan Shorey and Chris Carrino for the second half.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are two of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Hey Devils fans, Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at @Taustin_24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey here at Cooper Field on the campus of Georgetown University. 14-0 going in to the first half locker room session. Fordham down 2 scores going in after that first half. Second half action, only moments before this. We're coming up on the second half. But first, Brendan, talking about Fordham, especially from a momentum perspective in that first half for the Rams, marred in disappointment.
Yeah, a couple of turnovers for the Fordham offense. You know, the bright spot, the Fordham defense are out there. They've been going out and getting stops and forcing this Georgetown offense to punt the ball away, which as a Fordham fan, you love to see that. You just would hope that your offense can start capitalizing on those stops.
Yeah, and we saw it in the last Fordham drive, a very productive drive for Gunnar Smith and company, a bunch of completions, a lot of first downs. I think four first downs in that final drive. That sort of production for a full half here coming up on the second half could have Fordham with a chance to win this game.
Yeah, and obviously you have hope because it was the last drive of that half.
Yeah.
You saw it come out at the very end. You saw Gunnar Smith kind of, whether it was him warming up to the game, him acclimating to what Georgetown was throwing at him, whatever the issue was, the last drive of the half is kind of the most important one to look at if you want to bring it into this half.
And Gunnar Smith specifically in that drive, really good. He's had his ebbs and flows throughout this season, even a really timely turnover with a fumble at one point in that first half. But that last drive, about as good of signs as you could possibly have for your quarterback, especially in those conversations we had with Joe Conlon yesterday talking about the future of this program.
Yeah, and he was doing it kind of any way he had to. He was great from the pocket on that last drive. He was delivering strikes to his guys down the field, and then when that pocket collapsed, he was able to find holes, escape, and then make plays out of structure. Whether that was him taking off and scrambling and picking up 5 yards, or getting outside the pocket on the run out on the right or the left and finding open receivers on the field, he was finding a way to do it any way he had to.
And as many good superlatives we give to the Fordham offense for that last drive, one problem that's been a season-long problem persists, and that's the run game, and that's establishing that run game.
Yeah, it is, and the thing about those 2-minute drives is you don't run the ball on those, and it's a little worrying that you see the most success on the day come from the drive where you aren't running the ball at all. And it makes you wonder, those drives leading up to that, was the problem because you've been trying to establish the run and nothing's coming, and then you're getting behind the sticks? Is that like the main reason why you're struggling on those drives, or is it a combination of things? It makes you question a lot.
Fordham Rams sitting at -4 or -4 rushing yards for the half. That's in comparison to the 75 total net rushing yards for Georgetown. A big discrepancy, similar to the one I talked about before the last drive for Fordham. Fordham only had 1 first down going into that last drive to Georgetown's 9. Those sort of discrepancies in such important statistical categories can't be good for the Rams.
No, it can't, and you need this game. You come into a game against the Georgetown defense that I don't want to say struggled this season, but they're not at the very top of the Patriot League in terms of yardage given up, and an offense that has been not as consistent as one Georgetown fan would hope. But you need, as Fordham as well, you need to be more consistent to keep up with what this Georgetown team's throwing at you today.
Fordham defense has given the offense a chance. We'll see if they can capitalize now. Fordham nowhere near out of this one. 14-0, a 2-score game heading into the second half. Both kickoff units will trot out onto the field, and we'll get this second half going. It'll be Thomas Anderson, the sophomore lefty kicker, to get us started for the second half. Senior day here as well at Georgetown. See many roses around the stands, many families of seniors around the stands. Always a pretty wholesome day for every football program.
Very wholesome day, and 25 seniors on this Georgetown team.
It was a long line
for all of them.
They were starting their senior day festivities at around 12:30 today. A lot of guys to get through for the Hoyas.
Which, when in comparison, Fordham's senior day recently, I don't think festivities started until about 20 minutes before game time.
And here we go for the second half. Thomas Anderson will kick it away. And he'll let that one go from the 35-yard line. A long kick with great rotation, caught at the 5-yard line. Some blockers don't develop And Fordham ends up not with great field position, down at around the 18-yard line. It was Christian Tutson on the return, the freshman.
Yeah,
big return last week.
Tutson had, I was about to say, Chris, a huge return last week, which sparked the offense in last week's game against Bucknell. This time, this game hasn't been able to have one of those returns, but on this one avoids a huge hit incoming by a Georgetown special teamer, showing off his vision there.
53 yards on his kick return last week. One of the biggest plays for the Fordham team in general on Saturday. This is how Fordham's drive will start on the 19-yard line. Fordham's 19, 1st and 10 for the Rams. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. Gives the handoff. Jamel James right up the middle, past the 20, taken down at the 21-yard line. Will be around 2 yards on the gain to start the drive.
Yeah, Chris, obviously good that it's a positive gain, but starting the half with the run game, still want to establish it, but you need to get more than just 2 yards per carry.
Worrell and Benton, two wide receivers out wide on the right. Fake handoff. Back to throw. Finds Noden Tracy. Far sideline. It's caught. A first down, and he's taken down right before the 35-yard line. It'll be around 13 yards on the gain for the Rams. Rams first down.
And here's the contrast from the first half. They're getting Noden Tracy involved early in the half.
Yeah. Tracy, one of those names you said they need to get involved more in that first half. Smith, another shotgun opportunity, gave it to James. James blown up immediately in the backfield. He's going to lose a yard or two on that play, setting up second down. So Fordham Rams get a first down, but as you said, Brendan, a lack of production on the first couple downs can really hurt this offense.
And this one, you have to give props to the interior of both lines, but more so the Georgetown defensive line, plugging those holes up the middle.
1 yard lost on that play, 2nd and 11. Ball on the Fordham 31. Worrell in motion. Smith clapping for the snap, receives it, fakes the handoff, receives pressure, evades it, moves up in the pocket, now running past the 30, diving around the 40-yard line, I think down right before the 40 for around a 9-yard gain, setting up a 3rd and short. Good play there from Gunnar Smith.
Good play by John Morris, the freshman tight end as well. He steps up and picks up a free rusher that's going to have a huge chance to land a hit on Gunnar. This gives Gunnar the time to step up and run.
It's going to be a 3rd and 3 for the Rams. Ball on the Fordham 39-yard line after the Gunnar run play. Smith in the shotgun. Jamel James to his left. He gives the handoff to James. James through a hole. Finally taken down by his shoelaces. That was a nice play to avoid disaster for Mose, the linebacker, with that long hair coming out of his helmet, but a first down nonetheless, and Jamel James shaken up after the play. It's the kind of luck the Fordham Rams have had. A big play for the Rams, and their running back down right at the center of that G logo at the middle of midfield. James on his stomach, both hands in fists on the turf, not feeling well. Coach Joe Conlon now out to midfield, head coach of the Rams.
Yeah, an ankle tackle there. Jamel James had tons of space if he's able to break that, but he's able to get dragged down by the ankles, and not sure what the issue is exactly. It looks like it might be his right leg with the way the trainer is kind of tending to it. One of his legs, at least.
Definitely a leg problem for sure. An medical official stretching out the Fordham player, being stood over by Coach Joe Conlon. Joe Conlon as close as he can be. And frustration around us in the stands. You can hear it. There have been a lot of stoppages in this game between penalties and injuries. It was a long first half, and from the looks of it, it might be a long second half as well.
Yeah, I mean, both teams 5 penalties in the first half each, plus all the injuries that we mentioned in the first half. A couple of safeties go down for Fordham. You've had a couple of linemen of just any position you could think of. Probably a player that went down in the first half that plays that position. Here, Jamel James, the running back for Fordham, who has already missed time earlier this year, is now up and hopping off the field. It appears it's his left leg that's injured.
It's his left leg. He's putting no pressure on the left leg, hobbling with that right leg off the field. Natete Mose saving a big play for Fordham there with the shoelace tackle, but maybe injuring Jamel James in the process. James will head over to the bench. And the Fordham offense is going to try to stay productive without their lead running back after he just made the best running play they've had all afternoon long.
And it's going to be interesting to see the way they kind of replace his production at that running back spot, whether it's Johan Lee Lewis getting more carries, who's going to be in the game now, or maybe Ricky Parks, who only had 1 carry last week, but who has been a big part of this backfield for a majority of the season, whether he's going to get some more carries today or if we see any of the other guys in that backfield.
8 yards on the gain from Jamel James there. It sets up first down for the Rams. First down, ball on their own 47-yard line, trying to get past the 50. 12:50 to go in this third quarter. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, fakes the handoff up the middle, throws it up the middle, caught by Jack Benton. Benton with the defender all over him. It didn't matter. It's caught, and he's down at the 30. Another first down for the Rams and another big play for the Rams.
Yeah, really strong hands by Benton. It's a hands catch, and he has the defender punching at that ball, but able to hold on to it.
Rams moving quickly. First down for the Rams. Smith fakes the shotgun, fakes the handoff, takes it himself, runs left, taken down from his legs at around behind the 30-yard line. It'll be around 2 yards on the loss on first down, setting up second and long.
The safety, B.J. Bolden, there on the tackle, able to get Gunnar. If Gunnar gets past that, he's got a couple blockers and some space, maybe a chance to create chaos.
After the play, second and 10. Second and 10 on the Georgetown 32. Fakes the handoff in the shotgun. Throws far sideline. Noden Tracy had a defender all over him, unable to make the grab there, and that sets up third down. Johan Lee Lewis replacing the hurt Jamel James in the backfield.
Michael Bonzu over there in the coverage on Noden Tracy. Both guys, a lot of hand fighting on that side, but no call from that official.
After that play, sets up third and 10. Ball still on the Georgetown 32-yard line. Smith in the shotgun. Lee Lewis directly to his right. 3 receivers to his right, including tight end John Morris. Noden Tracy by himself on the far sideline to the left. Smith claps for the snap. Looks on the near sideline. Tries to find Troy Worrell. He's blown up. The pass is incomplete on third down. Good play there from the Georgetown defense.
Giancarlo Rufo, one of these linebackers for this Georgetown defense, completely reads this screen pass. It's supposed to be a screen to Troy Worrell coming from right to left, get the offensive lineman out in front, but just absolutely reads it and destroys Worrell out of midair.
The field goal unit going to run out there for the Fordham Rams. Going to be Bennett Henderson trying to get points for this Fordham team. It's going to be a 49-yarder for Bennett Henderson. Will Hazlitt holding this one on the 40. Lets it go. Sweeping of the right leg. And it's no good. Very wide right. Henderson hit on the kick. He's down on the ground. Shaken up a little bit after the play. Fordham can't even keep their kicker healthy after a play. And after that, no points for the Fordham Rams and good field position for the Georgetown Hoyas. Not good all around for the Rams.
Yeah, Henderson limping off the field now, too. Just
more unluckiness for this Fordham Ram team. Just more unluckiness on the kick.
A very unlucky team to this point, especially just dealing with the injuries, that type of issue. Very unlucky this game.
Fordham continuing to have a complicated relationship with luck this afternoon. Georgetown offense gets it back. They have it on their own 32-yard line. That's how the drive will start. It's thrown over the middle. Caught over the middle, past the 45, past the 50, finally pushed past the 45, now firmly in Fordham territory, down at the 44. Big play on the first drive for the Georgetown offense. And another player injured on the turf, this time again for the Fordham Rams. It's Nate Lindsey-Gill, the safety, walking off gingerly. More injury trouble for the Fordham Rams after the Hoyas' big play.
The good sign, he's already up, but again, another injury. But Chris, on this play, Jimmy Kibble, just insane balance. He gets hit and then it was practically bear crawling for 3 yards on one hand with the ball and both his feet, gets back up and continues to run.
After the first down, as I said, Hoyas in Fordham territory now at the Fordham 43-yard line. First and 10. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Fakes to his running back, now looks to throw. Tries to throw it over the middle. It's caught. Kibble once again on the catch, past the 40, right before the 35, down at the 37. Going to be around 6 yards on that catch.
And that ball even looked like it was tipped at the line, a bit wobbly getting to Kibble, but Kibble's so good with his hands, able to bring it in still.
It's going to be a 2nd and 3 after the completion. Ball in the Georgetown 36. Georgetown trying to go up 3 scores here in the third quarter. 14-0 Hoyas, 10:36 to go in this third quarter. 2 receivers to the right, none to the left. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Hart directly to his right in the backfield. Thomas claps for the snap, gives it to Hart. Hart tries to bounce it out to the left, then cuts back to the right. Seems like he might lose a lot of yards here, and he does. Osman all over it in the backfield, tackles him before the 40. That's going to be around 5 yards lost on that run play.
And that play designed to go left, but Claudie Robinson gets penetration into the backfield, and that's what forces Hart to back up, backtrack, and try and reverse fields. Just a fantastic play by Robinson. He starts it, and then a bunch of other guys come in, get some hands on Hart.
After the running mishap from the Georgetown offense, it's 3rd and 8 now. Ball on the Georgetown 41. Thomas in the shotgun. Sumper, the backup in the backfield with him, takes the snap, tries to throw it on the far sideline, and that one's going to be incomplete, dropped right before the first down marker by Georgetown. Another 3 and out for the Rams.
Yeah, that one was B-stick over there on the sideline. A good throw under pressure by Des Thomas. That one just in and out of B-stick's hands. And Fordham, again, forcing a 3 and out, giving their offense another chance with the ball.
Fordham going to get the punting unit out for Georgetown once again. Josh Leff, not sure if he expected to be punting this much this afternoon, but he is nonetheless. Kicks this one off from around the 50-yard line. That one going to bounce inside the 5 into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback for the Rams. Gunnar Smith and his offense going back out there, still down 2 scores. This Fordham defense, Brendan, has froze this Georgetown scoreboard.
Yeah, they have. They've done a fantastic job, and you look at the positions they've been put in. A couple of drives where Georgetown started inside the Fordham 35-yard line, and the Fordham defense able to stand strong on those.
We'll see what the Fordham offense can do with Gunnar Smith. We'll take a little break here from Georgetown. 9:32 to go in the third quarter. Still 14-0 Hoyas lead. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Ashley Went, one of your hosts for FUVFC, WFUV's best, if not only podcast for all things soccer. From insight from beat reporters for all of New York soccer clubs to breakdowns of all the major leagues and events from the international pitch to right here in the States. Tune in weekly as we discuss all things soccer on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week on FUVFC, a product of WFUV.
A beautiful scenery here at Cooper Field on the campus of Georgetown University. The Gothic matched with modern architecture around us, drape around this beautiful field on, as I said, just one of the most beautiful campuses in the country here in Washington, D.C. Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. Brendan, it's been an interesting start to this half, but it seems, at least now, at the point we're at, Fordham in a good spot, especially with the ball and a chance to cut it to one score.
Yeah, the past 2 drives, obviously that 2-minute drive, you take things from it, but it was a pass-only 2-minute offense kind of drive. You look at this first drive of the second half, and the Fordham offense was able to get down the field through a combination of rushing the ball and passing the ball. They were able to get a long field goal attempt, but still a field goal attempt up. It was no good, but again, showing promise, showing potential that this offense, that they need to unlock here, but they show that they can do it against this Georgetown defense.
And this offense has undoubtedly looked better since that last drive of the first half.
They've looked significantly better.
Fordham offense starting on their own 20. 1st and 10 for the Rams. 9:32 to go in this third quarter. Georgetown still holding a 14-0 lead over the Rams. Smith in the shotgun. Lee Lewis to his left. Takes the snap, throws it near sideline. Caught by Worrell. A wide receiver screen goes awry, and a major tackle past the 20. Will be around 3 yards on that gain, setting up second down.
Yeah, and Gunnar Smith gets hit as soon as he gets this ball out. This one of those run-pass options that Coach Conlon loves to call. Just give Gunnar Smith the ability to make a read. This time goes out to Worrell.
3 yards gain there. 2nd and 7 for the Rams. Ball still on their own 23. 9 minutes and counting on this third quarter. Smith snaps back, fakes the handoff. Give to Worrell. Same play on the near sideline, and that's blown up again. Noden Tracy had trouble with the screen, and he got Worrell blown up in the backfield.
Brian Lloyd, the guy that Noden Tracy is blocking on that one, does a great job kind of getting off that block enough to where when Noden Tracy pancakes him, it's right into Troy Worrell's way.
It's going to be 3rd down after that play, 3rd and 7. Big 3rd down for the Rams, deep in their own territory at the 23-yard line. Smith settling into the shotgun position. Lewis to his right. 3 receivers to his left, 1 on the near sideline to his right. It's Tracy. Smith looking on that far sideline. Finds Worrell on a slant, and he dropped it. Worrell would have had the 1st down. Instead, it's through his hands, and it's going to go back to the Georgetown offense. Punting unit comes out, including our own Dominic Sansone.
Our very own. And Chris, you mentioned it. A good throw on this one. Worrell just loses concentration, looks up to see where's there space where I can go. He has 2 defenders converging on him, but when he looks up like that, he takes his concentration off the ball, lets that one go through his hands.
Ball down to the 23-yard line for the punt. Dominic Sansone, WFUV's Dominic Sansone, set up right behind the 10-yard line. Call it the 9. He catches it, sends that one away. Another booming kick for Sansone. That one called at the 35 and met with a tackle immediately. Fordham special teams continuing to do their job this afternoon.
That is a great tackle. Jack Jedlicka, one of these long snappers for this Fordham
freshman
team.
long snapper as well.
Freshman long snapper making it all the way down the field.
His peers were amped up as he went to the sideline as well.
Hey, Chris, whenever you have a long snapper, a kicker, or a punter make a tackle like that, the whole team goes crazy.
Especially a freshman, Brendan.
The whole team is going to love it.
Still 14-0. Des Thomas and his offense trying to create a 3-score lead for the Hoyas. 8:09 to go in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, ball on the Hoyas' own 36-yard line. Thomas in the shotgun, motions a receiver, gives the handoff right up the middle. Sumper met immediately by the Fordham D-line. James Conway, amongst others there, to make the tackle.
Yeah, this Fordham defense still so good against the run. The purpose of the run game, one of the purposes, is to try and wear the defense down. But this Fordham defense not showing any signs of exhaustion yet to this point.
2nd and 10 after that play. Ball still on the 36-yard line. 7:40 and counting on this 3rd quarter clock. 3rd quarter moving a lot quickly than the last 2. Still 14-0 Hoyas. He claps for the snap, gives the handoff through the left lane, finds a hole, and finally Jaden Sumper pushed out of bounds right before the 50. That's around 13 yards on the gain, and a 1st down for the Hoyas.
This one fantastically blocked. Lusini Maka, the center for this Georgetown offense, is able to get up and get to the 2nd level, opening up a hole for Sumter to run through.
Right on the precipice of Fordham territory, ball on the Georgetown 47-yard line. 7:12 and counting on this clock. Clock continues to dwell. 1st and 10 for Des Thomas in the shotgun. Has Sumper directly to his right. 2 receivers on both sides. Fakes to Sumper, takes it himself. Thomas evading defenders, going out wide on the far sideline. Finally running out of bounds at the 44-yard line. It'll be around 3 yards on the gain there. There's a penalty flag right around the 50. Brendan, what's that?
Our first flag of the half there, Chris.
Wow.
It looks like it's going to be a hold on the offense.
A first half marred in flags, and with 6:50 left in the 3rd quarter, the first flag of the 2nd half. What was the flag on there, Brendan?
Holding on the offense.
Holding on the offense. You called it almost immediately. Got to give you your credit.
I did. It was out there on the outside. You have Des Thomas getting the edge, but you have anyone blocking out there. Your job gets even tougher whenever you have a fast quarterback like that and you're blocking someone from that 2nd level. You cannot get your hands outside the shoulder pads, which they did there.
It's going to be down. Ball is going to be down at the 37 after the penalty, moving the farther back in their own territory. It's 1st and 19 for Georgetown. Thomas moving a guy in motion from left to right in the shotgun. Looks in the near flat, finds a man. It's Kibble, avoids a defender, then met by a couple others in the 2nd level. Eventually tackled past the 45, around 46-yard line.
Chris, we've talked about how good Kibble is making the catch in that process, but after the catch, he is just as good. Makes a move after this catch, makes Drew Minnick miss, one of the hard hitters for this Fordham defense, makes him miss, and is able to pick up a few afterwards.
10-yard catch there after the penalty, setting up 2nd and 9 after the 1st and 19. Ball on the Georgetown 48-yard line. 5:54 and counting on this 3rd quarter. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Still has Sumper directly to his right in the backfield. Gives it to Sumper. Sumper tries to get through a hole on the right, and he is matched immediately by James Conway. James Conway spearing the running back into the turf.
Yeah, and a great job here for this defense setting up a 3rd and long, a position where this Georgetown offense has kind of struggled today.
3rd and long for the Hoyas. 3rd and 9, ball on their own 48-yard line. 5:24 and counting on this clock. Clock has been in free fall since the start of the quarter. Still 14-0 Georgetown lead. 3rd and 9, Thomas in the shotgun. Has Sumper directly to his right. The Philly native. Moose Kibble in motion to his left. He's all alone on the near sideline. Thomas looks on the far sideline, has a man past the 50. It'll be around 3 yards on the gain, not enough for the first down. But another completion for Georgetown and another stop for the Fordham defense.
Yeah, that one picks up about half the yardage needed to Mahasin there. But maybe if they get a couple yards closer, coach considers going for it. 4th and 4, you're up 2 scores. He's going to go ahead and punt this one away to the Fordham offense.
Fordham continuing to force the punt unit out for Georgetown. Regardless of the lack of production from their offense, the Fordham defense continued to answer the bell this afternoon. Josh Leff and the rest of the punting crew out there will kick that one from his own 40-yard line. Fair catch called right at the Fordham 10. That's where they'll start the drive. Fordham in desperate need of a productive offensive drive.
Yeah, they really do need one, and last drive obviously not ideal. But you look at that 3rd down, the drop by Troy Worrell that had the potential to turn into a first down. This offense just needs to put together what we've been seeing from them and make it more consistent, and they can go down and drive down the field.
Fordham Rams with a chance to make this a close football game. 14-0, 4:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. Hoyas lead. We'll take a little break from Cooper Field here at Georgetown University. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the host of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
$14-0 Hoyas lead over the Fordham Rams. 4:18 to go in this 3rd quarter in the 71st meeting on the gridiron between Georgetown and Fordham. Fordham holding a 43-24-3 lead over Georgetown all time. Specifically for this matchup, Brendan, Fordham has to be optimistic about this upcoming drive, but also really need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic is what I would say, Chris.
Very articulate.
You've seen signs of life in this offense throughout the past 3 drives. But you also have to take into account halftime. This Georgetown team went into the half. Obviously, they made some adjustments during halftime to come out and implement in the second half. And then you look at those first few drives, this first handful of drives in the first half where you weren't able to get a whole lot going. So obviously signs that there is something to look forward to on this drive, but also signs that be a little cautious about what you're hoping for.
Yeah, and the Fordham Rams done a decent job in the pass game. Their net pass yards now 106. Gunnar Smith 16 for 25 in this game. That's for a good enough completion, 64%. That's to Georgetown's 65%. High percentages from a completion perspective from both teams. Just neither team really letting the fireworks, not really letting it all fly. It seems both teams still meandered by something.
And that's higher than Gunnar Smith's completion percentage coming into this one. He's being a lot more accurate today with his passes. He's being a lot more confident, I would say, in the pocket delivering these strikes.
1st and 10. Fordham going to start their drive, ball on their own 10-yard line. 14-0 Hoyas. Fordham continuing to try to dig into this lead. Smith takes the snap, hands it off to Lewis. Lewis makes a few juke moves, gets out to past the 10, call it the 11, around a yard gain on that play, for setting up 2nd down.
Again, this Georgetown defensive line playing so well today. They block anything where that play was supposed to go, but Lee Lewis uses his vision, cuts that one back, and is able to pick up a couple yards.
It's not going to be 2nd and 10. Or 2nd and 9. Ball on the 11. 1 yard on that gain. Smith in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff. Takes it himself right up the middle. he went, found himself right behind his offensive lineman, Mark DeCrotch, and that ends up being a few yards on that game, setting up third down.
Yeah, that one looked like some sort of busted play, a play action. It looked like it was supposed to be, and then Lee Lewis has to get out of there early to pick up a block. Gunnar Smith just decides to ditch the play and take off downfield.
Set a couple yards gain on that play. It was actually 5 yards gain on that play. Gunnar Smith sets up after the long rush on 3rd and 4 in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff to Lee Lewis, throws it on the far sideline, and it's caught. Toe tapping grab by Troy Worrell, and it gets the Rams a first down. They're out right before the 25-yard line. 9 yards to gain on that play. Great play on 3rd and 4.
And every Georgetown defender complaining, thinking that Gunnar Smith was across the line of scrimmage there on that one, Chris.
Seemed like Gunnar Smith just found himself just behind the line of scrimmage there. 1st and 10 after the play. Smith back to pass. Finds a receiver on the far sideline through the hands of Jack Benton. Another play for this Fordham offense where it goes right through the receiver's hands.
And that's a perfect read by Gunnar Smith there. It's cover 2. You have 2 safeties over the top, and you have defenders sitting down low in the flats. You have Troy Worrell on an out route, occupies the flat defender. You have Jack Benton on a go on the outside, hitting him right in between those 2 zones, just a drop there.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion on the far sideline. Ball still on the Fordham 23-yard line. 2nd and 10. One receiver on the left, 2 receivers on the right. Worrell in motion from right to left. Smith claps for the snap. Gives to Lewis right up the middle. Goes through a hole on the right, gets a few yards out past the 25, call it the 26. 3 yards on that gain, setting up 3rd down. Fordham Rams still lacking that real production on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, still lacking that real production on these early downs. And this isn't 3rd and long, but 3rd and manageable.
And they're moving quickly. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, 3rd and 7. Ball on the Fordham 26-yard line. Smith hesitates, looks to his other quarterbacks for direction on the sideline. Has Lewis directly to his right. Receivers on both sides. Smith in the shotgun. Snaps back. 2-step drop. Receives pressure. Moves to his right. Looks to heave it. That pass is short to Noden Tracy. Noden Tracy right around the 40-yard line. Would have been around a 13-yard gain. Instead, the pass is short. And Fordham Rams give the ball right back to Georgetown. Fordham's punting unit come out, including Dominic Sansone.
Tate Mose there, outstanding play. He's coming on a blitz. Johan Lee Lewis steps up and picks him up, but Mose so strong, basically just runs through Lee Lewis and gets to Gunnar, forces him outside the pocket, and forces the rush throw.
Ball down at the Fordham 26. Sansone standing right on the positive side of the 10-yard line, ready to kick this one off. It's, of course, Hassan Mahassan back for Georgetown to return this one. He's standing on the 35-yard line. That one, I believe, was punted. Coaches on the Georgetown sideline looking for that ball to be spotted really close. That one's going to be right around, still in Fordham territory, around the 35-yard line. I think only 15 yards on that kick. It had to have been disrupted.
Yeah, Sansone looks like he may have shanked that one, just mishit it. And
been so good so far this afternoon.
He's been so good, but you could tell by the spin on this one that it was just off, and Georgetown's going to have great starting field position in Fordham's own territory.
Yeah, after the shank kick from our own Dominic Sansone, that ball going to be on the Fordham 26-yard line, 26 to the goal for the Georgetown offense, and that's where Des Thomas II and his offense will take over. Actually, on the 40-yard line. That one punted away from around the 10-yard line, down at around the 20. Only 20 yards on that kick from Dominic Sansone. That's where Georgetown will take over. On the Fordham 41st and 10. Des Thomas rotates his running back in the backfield, takes the snap, looks to throw, finds his running back. Savion Hart makes the catch, ends up getting pushed back and tackled after the play around the 35-yard line. Around 4 yards on that gain. Relatively productive first down.
Yeah, I would say that's productive. 4 yards is a productive first down. Des Thomas wants to go to Kibble on this play out on the left side, but TJ Jones does a good job sticking to him, not giving him his first read and making him go through his progressions and checking it down.
After the 4-yard catch from Hart, 2nd and 6. Ball on the Fordham 36. 1:28 and counting on this third quarter. It's been a quick third quarter. Thomas claps for the snap. Fakes the handoff, runs out right. Chased by Conway and Osman. And finally pushed out of bounds by Trey Bradford, the safety, right around the line of scrimmage. No yards to gain on that play, setting up 3rd down. Good play from the Fordham offense.
And Chris, big loss there for Des Thomas. He decides to keep that one. decides not to hand it. But it looked like that was just the wrong read, because then you had 3 or 4 Fordham defenders on the outside just waiting for him.
After the productive defensive work from the Fordham Rams, 3rd and 13, another 3rd and long for the Georgetown offense. Ball on the Fordham 43-yard line. 48 seconds and counting on this third quarter clock. Des Thomas in the backfield, in the shotgun, motioning a guy right to left, a receiver. Hart gets it out of the backfield, on the run, stumbling and bumbling past the 40, finally taken down at around the 38-yard line. It'll be around 5 yards on the gain there. 28 seconds and counting on the third quarter clock.
He's able to get back close to the original line of scrimmage, and Chris, player down.
Yeah, prior to the ball being spotted, a timeout taken by Fordham.
We have a player limping off the field, one of the Georgetown offensive linemen.
It's Kason Mahuka, the senior from Hawaii, walking off gingerly. I believe it's going to be his left foot that's giving him some trouble. Already has massive tape and a brace on that left foot, or on that left leg. And he'll come out of the game. The rest of the offense will stay out there for Georgetown. 26 seconds on the clock. Clock stopped with the timeout, and the clock will start up once again now. Punting unit will run out for Georgetown on 4th down. 17 seconds and counting on the clock. They get this off for the quarter, Brendan?
They will. The play clock is 2 seconds ahead of the game clock right now.
Josh Leff, the rest of the Georgetown punting unit out there. Leff on the south side of the 50, kicking that one off right in line with the 50. And he'll kick that one right into the hands of a teammate inside the 5. Fantastic work on special teams from the Hoyas.
Cohen Sutton, the senior, fields that one as if he's a punt returner, catches it inside the 5-yard line. He was not fooled by Donegan's tactics to try and get that ball through the end zone.
And after that play, that's it for our third quarter. 3 quarters of play are done here in the nation's capital, here at Cooper Field on the campus of Georgetown University. The hosting Hoyas up 14-0 over the traveling Fordham Rams. We're going to send it back for another studio update with Max Perlman. Take it away, Max.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Thanks, Chris. Taking a look at the rest of the afternoon's college football slate. The marquee game thus far has been number 3 ranked 9-0 Texas A&M versus 3-6 South Carolina, where future first-round pick Lenora Sellers in SC jumped out to a 31-3 lead before Marcel Reed, who had 4 Heisman candidate Marcel Reed, who had 4 turnovers in the first half, threw for 203 yards in the third quarter and led Texas A&M all the way back to a comeback as they are about to win that one. Oh my God! As they are about to win that one. Yeah, as Texas A&M is about to win that one, move 10-0. Number 2 Indiana continue their dominance, moving to 11-0 with a win over Wisconsin. Future Jet Fernando Mendoza going 22 for 24 with 299 yards and 4 TDs. Another ranked matchup going on with 2 7-2 teams, as number 9 Notre Dame is currently blowing out number 22 Pitt 37-9. Number 18 Michigan is currently struggling with Northwestern as they square off in Wrigley Field. The score there 22-21 Northwestern. 5-5 Clemson takes down 20-ranked Louisville 2019 as they try and put their season back on track. Another ranked upset in the Big 12 as 7-3 Arizona beats 24-ranked Cincinnati 30-24. Big game of the Big 10 tonight as 21-ranked Iowa travels to LA to take on 17-ranked USC. An excellent QB matchup in the SEC later also as Ty Simpson and number 4 Alabama will host John Mateer and number 11 Oklahoma. But the game of the night will be in Athens as number 10 Texas plays number 5 Georgia. With your one-on-one college football update, I'm Max Perlman.
It's a beautiful day here at Georgetown University. Both our first times here at the campus. Beautiful campus in our nation's capital. Chris Carrino joined by Brendan Shorey. 15 minutes left of ball here this afternoon. Georgetown holding on to what's now getting old, a 14-0 lead. They had it at halftime. A lot has happened for how little has happened on the scoreboard in the second half, Brendan.
Yeah, very uneventful third quarter in terms of scoring, but both teams sort of putting together some sort of drives, moving down the field to an extent, but unable to capitalize on any of these drives that they've started.
Thank you to Max for that update. We'll hear from him and Gabby Price one more time in post-game show back at the Rose Hill Studios. That'll be immediately after this one. And both teams trotting back out there after the quarter change. field alternates. So Fordham Rams will be going right to left, and the Georgetown Hoyas will be going left to right. Fordham deep on the opposite end zone, starting this one off. They'll start this one off from their own 4-yard line after the nice punt spot. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun, Lewis directly to his right, both men in the end zone. And the ball spotted at the 4, 1st and 10. Fake handoff. Smith tries to evade pressure and evade a safety. I believe he does. Might have gotten a yard or two on the gain. Basically fell forward around the line of scrimmage. That'll set up 2nd down.
Georgetown was able to get pressure immediately off the right side of Fordham's offensive line. Just great awareness by Gunnar Smith to know to step up, get out of his end zone, and just try and run for it.
14:37 and counting on this 4th quarter clock. 2nd and 8. Deep in Fordham territory. Smith hands it off right up the middle. Lewis evading a few defenders, eventually wrestled down at the 10-yard line. It'll be around a 4-yard gain there, and that'll set up 3rd down.
And that's a really tough run by Lee Lewis. Obviously, you're backed up. This Georgetown defense is going to be keying in on any run. But Lee Lewis breaks through 2 tackles and is able to fall forward out on the 3rd.
After that gain, Fordham out to their own 10-yard line. 3rd and 4 for the Rams. Big 3rd down for Fordham. Lewis to the left of Gunnar Smith. Smith in the shotgun. Trip receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Noden Tracy on the near sideline. Smith receives the snap, looks to pass. Looks near sideline, then looks over the middle, finds Tracy on a slant, and he dropped the ball. Either an incompletion or a fumble. Either way, it's not a 1st down. And it seems like the Fordham punting unit going to stroll back out on the field with Dominic Sansone.
You have another punt for Dominic Sansone after that incompletion. Our very own, Chris.
Very own.
But a tough catch there by Noden Tracy. He's got a defender draped all over his back. Unfortunately for him, not able to hold on to it. And Dominic Sansone will be punting this one with his heels pretty much to the back of the end zone.
More productive work from the Hoya secondary. Gets the ball right back in Georgetown's hands. Dominic Sansone in the end zone to kick this one off. Ball spotted at the 10-yard line. Dom right in the middle of the Y in the Hoyas in the end zone. Kicks that one away. A high booming kick. A lot better than last time. That one caught just on the south side of the 50. Call him down at the 48. Good kick there from Dominic Sansone, but has to be a negative vibe for this Fordham team, not being able to really make anything of that offensive drive. And still only being down 2 scores, Brendan.
Still only being down 2 scores. Their defense is really doing a very nice job of keeping them in this game, giving the offense chance after chance to go down, drive down the field, and score. They're holding this Georgetown offense with playmakers everywhere. You have guys across the board. Savion Hart comes into this game with 10 touchdowns on the season. He has a nose for the end zone. But you look at the scoreboard, 14-0, 2-possession game. Defense with another opportunity here to try and give their offense the ball back with another chance. We'll see what they can do.
And it's been a theme all afternoon long for the two of us talking about the defense and special teams unit of this Fordham team holding their own this afternoon, regardless of how the offense has been.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the theme for the past few weeks as well. The defense has kind of been the bright spot as of recent. It's an interesting kind of thing about this team is you look at the beginning of the season, and a lot of the excitement was looking towards the offense of this team. Yeah. There were different receivers that were coming in, a new quarterback in the system. But since the season started, it's kind of shifted from being more of that offensive-minded excitement towards, look what our defense is coming in and doing week in and week out. And that's what we've really seen these past few weeks.
And it's rolled in today without a doubt. They've had the punting unit out there for Georgetown a lot. And even if Fordham could have capitalized on one of these offensive drives, the game changes a whole lot.
It does. It becomes a one-possession game. The big saying in sports is, it's more in terms of the sports with goals, but a 2-goal lead is the least safe spot you could be in. Right now, this is practically the equivalent of that in football terms. A 2-score lead is dangerous because Fordham comes out and scores on their next drive. Well, that is a one-possession game. That is anyone's game, but then Fordham will have the momentum on their side. So
it's a famous A-Rod quote. I'd rather be up 3-2 than 4-2, which I can't agree.
Can't agree with that. But the principle behind it where you get the score, you have the momentum, and then you have a chance to go down and score again, it's something that just kind of applies to this situation with Fordham.
Yeah, Fordham Rams only with 10 first downs themselves offensively this afternoon, but the Fordham Ram defense has only given up 13. So both offenses being limited to a certain capacity this afternoon. It's going to be first down for the Georgetown offense. They're right on the precipice of the 50-yard line on the Fordham 48. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Sumter to his left in the backfield, looks to pass, pump fakes, and is taken down in the backfield. All over him, Peter Shaloub, John Scott, a few other guys for the Fordham defense hounding this Georgetown offensive line and getting to Des Thomas.
Great job by John Scott. Des Thomas drops back. He looks right. He wants to go to Kibble the entire way. And Kibble, maybe 50-50 ball, he might come down with it, but John Scott gets his hands up and does not allow that pass, which then forces the sack.
After the play, 3 yards lost. 2nd and 13 now. Ball on the Georgetown 45-yard line. A slow fake handoff in the backfield. Quarterback moves right, throws it long, deep down the field. And Justin Johnson had good coverage there, but it might have been too good, and a flag comes out. 2 flags right around him.
Yeah, he does a good job of getting his head turned around, but again, at the same time, one of his arms is pulling down the receiver's arms, not letting him make a play on the ball.
So now the Fordham offense really going to be hindered after that penalty.
It'll be 15 yards from the spot, automatic first down, so Georgetown now going to be with a roughing the passer.
Wow.
At the same time.
Holy moly.
Georgetown now going to be in Fordham territory.
Deep in Fordham territory at that. Georgetown before that play on the south side of the 50. They're now firmly in Fordham territory. Ball still hasn't been downed yet. Or ball has been down. Ball's down at the 40-yard line. Georgetown, after the penalty, picks up at the Fordham 40. 1st and 10. Georgetown going to try and capitalize on the field position. Thomas in the shotgun. Got Sumter directly to his left in the backfield. Hands it off to him. Sumter tries to go through a right hole. Met almost right away by James Conway. James Conway stuffs him to the turf, and that's going to set up next play, 2nd down.
Yeah, the second level, this Fordham defense is doing a great job today. Like we just saw in this play, getting to those holes, meeting the running back in those holes, and not allowing a whole lot of space.
After that play, 2nd and 9. 1 yard on the gain there. Ball on the 39-yard line of Fordham. Fordham's 39, 2nd and 9 for the Georgetown offense. Once again, same position. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Sumter directly to his right. Sumter in the stand-up position at the back in the backfield. Handed to him. Goes through a left hole. Is thrown in the air. Ends up getting some air time and gets taken to the ground. That's going to be not a first down, but instead causing a 4th and short. Another turnover. Or another 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, it's a good.
I thought that one was 2nd down. would have been a good 3rd down stop, Brendan.
It would have. That one's a good 2nd down play. It brings up a 3rd and about 4 for this Georgetown offense. 3rd and very manageable for them.
Yeah, right around 4 yards to the first down. Ball on the 34-yard line of Fordham. 2nd and 4. Thomas once again in the backfield. Sumter straight up, right to his right, giving it to Sumter. Sumter juking left to right, goes through the middle of the defense. It seems a bunch of Fordham Rams there to make the stop. A bunch of fists up for the Fordham defense. I think they got the stop.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and very short, and a decision here for Coach. And it looks like it's just a substitution, a personnel substitution.
Yeah.
The offense might be staying out there.
Georgetown keeping the offense on the field, making some substitutions, but Des Thomas, the quarterback for this team, and the rest of the unit still out there. Des Thomas setting up in tush-push formation. 4th and 1 for Georgetown on Fordham's 31. And there's movement on the line. Bit of a mishmash there. I think it's going to be a false start.
Yeah, a lot of confusion there.
One of the more confusing football plays I've ever witnessed, to be honest with you.
Really, from our perspective, all you can see is every player huddled up, and then Des Thomas claps. That ball is snapped, and then all of a sudden it's 5 yards in the backfield on the ground.
It was just seemingly a car crash immediately. We'll see how this one is decided. All 11 players weren't on set. It'll be a false start for the offense. That's going to move Georgetown back. Some luck for the Fordham defense.
Yeah, they still had some players moving at the snap on that one. You cannot do that. But now it's 4th and 6, and still a decision. It looks like the offense is still going to stay out on the field.
Offense going to stay out there. 5 yards on the penalty, now pushing them back to a 4th and 6. And we'll see if they continue to keep the offense out there. I think the offense wondering a similar thing. I think they will. Jimmy Kibble, a few other offensive players subbing on for Georgetown. They're going to keep the offense on the field. 4th and 6 for the Hoyas. They're going to go for it in Fordham territory on Fordham's 36-yard line. 10:44 remaining in this fourth quarter. Big 4th down for Des Thomas and his offense. Georgetown going for it. 4th and 6. Thomas receives the snap, looks to pass on the far sideline. It's dropped. The outstretched, diving wide receiver of Georgetown couldn't quite get his hands on that. And after the drop from B-Stick, Fordham getting a turnover on downs for the Rams.
This is something we've seen from the Fordham defense a lot today, and it's worked very well in these third and medium, 4th and medium situations. This Fordham defense has been bringing both linebackers, Andrew Osmond and James Conway, up onto the line of scrimmage, and then sending at least 6 or 7 guys on these blitzes, getting at least one free rusher to the quarterback and rushing Des Thomas in the pocket. This time, rushes him, and he throws the incompletion.
After the turnover on downs, an unsuccessful 4th down, the Fordham Rams will take over. They're still most definitely in this game, still only down 2 scores, 14-0 Georgetown Hoyas, 10:30 to go in this fourth quarter. Fordham's going to start it on their own 36-yard line. That's where the drive will start. Smith in the shotgun, 1st and 10. With Lewis in the backfield, fakes the handoff to Lewis, looks deep, receives some pressure, and is eventually taken down. A Brian Dawkins level tackle from behind, a leaping tackle from behind, and that's another sack for the Fordham Rams.
And Chris, that one, a coverage sack. You got 4 guys out there running routes, but just so well covered. There's nowhere for Gunnar Smith to go with this ball. It gives the pass rush time to get home.
Clock still dwelling. 10:06 to go in this fourth quarter. 2nd and 15 for the Rams after the lost yards. Smith back to pass. Moving out left. Trying to cut through defenders, ends up getting rattled by both. He's going to get taken down. Another loss of yards for Smith. A pretty nightmarish first two downs for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, and Gunnar Smith wants to go to Noden Tracy on this one. He's running a 10-yard hitch out on the far left side, and he's looking at him. But then you have a Georgetown defender kind of cut that off, and then at that point, Gunnar Smith has to scramble, try to find something.
After another loss of yards, 3rd and 17 for the Fordham Rams. 3rd and seemingly forever for Fordham. Ball on their own 29-yard line. 9:23 and counting on this fourth quarter clock. Smith in the shotgun. Lewis directly to his right. Claps for the snap. Met with a lot of pressure in the backfield. Dumps it off to Lewis. Lewis has it on the halfback screen. Past the 40. Pushing defenders back and finally out of bounds at around right before the 50. Calm down at the 49. There's going to be a flag right around the play as well. Yeah, Brendan.
There's a flag over on that far side where that play occurred. Just a screen pass here to Johan Lee Lewis coming out of the backfield. You get the 3 linemen pulling out and getting ahead, and it looks like one of these Fordham blockers is going to be called for a hold.
It's going to be a holding call on the Rams. This just has to be demoralizing, Brendan. Every really productive play for this Fordham team offensively just seemingly gets called back. It's like a mean coach in a walkthrough. Truly.
A lot of these plays that are getting called back just coincidentally are the big plays for this Fordham team. And it makes sense when you think about why, but unfortunate for them.
After being pushed back, a really difficult 3rd down. Once again, 3rd and 14 for the Rams. Ball on the Fordham 32. 5:53 and counting on the fourth quarter clock. 3 receivers to his left, 1 receiver to his right. Betting by himself. Smith receives the snap in the shotgun. Looks deep to pass. Tries to find Troy Worrell over the middle. It's tipped by a man in the secondary. Georgetown secondary continuing to make plays, and that's going to be 4th down for the Rams. Doesn't look like they'll go for it.
No, interesting play design here. You have both John Morris and Troy Worrell crossing from left to right. Troy Worrell is about 5 to 7 yards deeper than Morris, but this throw kind of in between the two where it's high for Morris and it goes off some fingertips there, but it would have been a low throw to Worrell. This one falls incomplete, and another punt here.
A name we've said all too many times this afternoon, WFUV's own Dominic Sansone back out there to kick it. Ball down at the 32. Kick that one right in line with the Fordham 20. Spiraling kick. Bounces aggressively at the Georgetown 30. Will bounce all the way to the Georgetown 15. That's where it'll be picked up. Good work there on Fordham special teams. Continuing to match their quality.
Yeah, great bounce there from Dominic Sansone on his punt. Sets up Georgetown inside their own 20-yard line.
8:27 to go in this fourth quarter. Georgetown with a 14-0 lead over the traveling Fordham Rams. We'll take a little break. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Chris Carrino, joined by Brendan Shorey for the final time this season out at Georgetown University. As beautiful as it gets here in the nation's capital at Cooper Field. Pretty packed house here on Senior Day. A lot of Hoyas and Hoyas extended here for this matchup. Hoyas matching the level of event, 14-0 Georgetown. They've been in the lead and they've done a good job, but it was 14-0 at half, Brendan. Not a lot of work has been done in this second half. Fordham with ample time to get back in this one. They just haven't.
Yeah, not a whole lot of work done by this Georgetown offense in terms of points and yardage, but the one thing they've done well is they've worked this clock a little bit. They've drained some time off the clock. We're
8:27 to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we're about almost halfway through this fourth quarter, and obviously when you hold the Fordham offense scoreless throughout first, second, and now third quarter, your goal at this point is just to melt some clock, make it harder for them to go down and score multiple times.
Fordham with one more game on their schedule. That's next weekend. They'll go on the road once again to Merrimack. Merrimack, last game of the season, last season as well. That one was at Moglia Stadium. Fordham going on the road to end their season this year. 8:27 to go in the fourth quarter. Hoya still with that all too coveted 14-0 lead over the Fordham Rams. It's 1st and 10, ball on the Georgetown 13. Nice field position after the Sansone punt. It's going to be handed off for the first play of the drive to Hart. Hart not getting much on that first play. A tackle by Carter Hess. Nice play inside, setting up second down.
Yeah, Carter Hess, the sophomore defensive lineman there for the Rams, does a good job at, again, getting back into the backfield and making the tackle for loss.
After that play, 3 yards lost on that play, setting up 2nd and 13. Ball on Georgetown's 10-yard line, still firmly in their own territory. 7:56 and counting on the fourth quarter clock. Des Thomas claps for the snap, rolls out left, evading some pressure, now running to the right side of the field, finds himself at the right side of the numbers, juking past a defender, and finally taken down past the 25 at around the 28-yard line. 17 yards on the run for the quarterback, Des Thomas. Big play for Georgetown.
Yeah, Jalen Evans is in there at the safety spot for Fordham, and he has the chance to come up and make the tackle on Thomas, but Thomas jukes right, goes back inside, and absolutely gets past Jalen Evans.
After a loss of yards, Des Thomas uses his legs to get a bunch of yards for his Georgetown Hoyas. They now have it at the Georgetown 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Thomas in the shotgun, Hart directly to his left. 2 receivers to his left. Fakes the handoff, throws it in the flat, finds tight end McCormick. McCormick tackled by Trey Bradford right past that line of scrimmage marker. A little distracted as well. Drew Minnick got thrown at the end of that play there. No flag called, but definitely extracurriculars.
Extracurriculars, and this is one of the things that's not.
Drew Minnick's had a long evening, for the record.
He's had a very long evening, has made a lot of plays, but one thing that doesn't go on the stat sheet is just leadership. And you see after this play, James Conway go over to Drew Minnick after he gets thrown and gives him a pat on the helmet, says, "You're good, get back in here."
James Conway, the literal and spiritual leader for this Fordham unit. 2nd and 8, rolls out right, throws it on the near sideline. It's caught. Hassan Mahassan catches it on 2nd down, setting up a 3rd and short for the Georgetown offense.
And after turning upfield, Mahassan was a little disappointed after seeing how much room he would have had. He goes out of bounds. His momentum takes him out of bounds after that catch, but still not too happy seeing all the space in front of him.
Mahassan already one of the longest plays of the day on a kick return and a touchdown, the first touchdown of the game this afternoon. 6:03 and counting on the fourth quarter clock. Georgetown continues to drain that clock. It's going to be 3rd and 1
for the Georgetown offense. Des Thomas in the shotgun by himself, no running backs. Hart in the slot on the right. Hands it to Hart on the jet sweep. Hart has it, past a few defenders, past the 45, taken down at the 52. Hart, big play on third down there to keep the drive going and keep the ball in the hands of the Hoyas.
And Chris, another injury out there on the field. This one looks like Jalen Evans from that safety spot.
It's just ridiculous at this point, Brendan. Free safety, Jalen Evans for the Fordham Rams down. He's kicking the turf as well. Does not look like he's in much comfort.
No, he does not.
Another injury for the Fordham Rams. We'll take a little break along with the teams here at Cooper Field. 5:35 to go in this fourth quarter and to go in the game. 14-0. Georgetown Hoyas lead. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey guys, Grace McCarran here with Jack Warner.
And we're two of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's one and only baseball podcast.
We'll keep you in the loop on all tri-state news with the Yankees and Mets,
as well as the biggest headlines from around the MLB.
Catch weekly episodes of Nosebleeds on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases with Nosebleeds on WFUV Sports.
Gloomy skies persist here at the University of Georgetown. Doesn't take away from the beauty of the campus here at Cooper Field at Georgetown University. 5:35 to go in the fourth quarter of this Patriot League matchup. Georgetown still holding on to that 14-0 lead. Brendan, that 14-0 lead running out of style, how long they've had it.
Yeah, it is. They've had it since before the half and just haven't been able to add on to it. But a promising drive here for Georgetown following that big third down conversion, which in my opinion, it was a really cool play design. You get your tight end Isaiah Grimes lined up on the far outside. Andrew Osman lines up with him. You bring Hart over to the right side too. So you have both of the big linebackers for Fordham on the outside. When you motion Hart, Conway motions back inside as well, but he's still far away from the action. That way you just have Hart running with a full head of steam going straight into defensive backs.
After that, Brendan, Georgetown on the opposite side of the 50, on the north side of the 50. Call it the Fordham 48-yard line. They're now in Fordham territory. 5:35 to go in this fourth quarter. 1st and 10 for the Hoyas. That's where they'll continue after the stoppage of play. Des Thomas setting up in the shotgun. Savion Hart directly to his left. Receivers out wide on both sides. Tight end directly tied to the line to the left. 1st and 10, as I said, ball in the Fordham 48. Thomas waiting for the go-ahead.
Georgetown looking to melt as much of this clock as possible, Chris. Play clock still above 15 seconds, looking to take as much time as possible on each play.
They're draining that clock. That's moving. Once they went into their formation, 9 seconds on the game clock. Thomas finally snaps it, gives it to Hart. Hart go up the middle for an inside zone. Ends up getting past the 45, call him down at the 43. Around half the yard to gain on that play. He'll set up a second and 5.
And a reason why Hart is so good is not just his vision, but his burst and his speed. Once he finds a hole, he's able to jump cut and go right into it. There he shows it with multiple jump cuts, is able to find that hole, pick up a good first down gain.
And the Hoyas is going to continue to try and drain this clock. 4:31 on the game clock. And 12 seconds and counting. Now 7 seconds on the game clock. Finally takes the snap. Hands it off. A triple option for Hardy. Bounces out to the outside. Running on that near sideline. Push out of bounds at the 30. A 13-yard gain for Hart. And going out of bounds, maybe not what Georgetown wanted, but he got enough yards.
And Chris, Savion Hart, he was a former high school track All-American. He's showcasing the speed here on this play. He sees the hole, he bursts through it, and picks up the first.
He actually stayed in bounds there. The clock will continue to run. 3:55 and counting on the fourth quarter clock. 14 on the game clock. 1st and 10 after that big run from Savion Hart. Ball at the Fordham 28-yard line. Handed off. Hart bouncing out to the far sideline in a similar fashion, pushed out of bounds before the first down, around 7 yards on the gain there. Drew Minnick and company ready for it there.
Yeah, ready for it, but Savion Hart, once you let him get the edge, he is a home run threat out there on the outside. You are lucky if you can catch him if he breaks free. This time, he's able to pick up about 7, but just runs out of space.
As I said, as Brendan said as well, 7 yards on that gain there. It's now 2nd and 3. Ball on the Fordham 21-yard line, 3 minutes and counting on this fourth quarter. Des Thomas in the shotgun. 2 receivers wide to his right. No receivers to his left. Hart rotating to the right side of his quarterback in the backfield. Hands it to Hart. Hart tried to get through a hole on the left side, taken down right away. That'll keep the clock moving. Not much to gain there, setting up 3rd down.
Yeah, these linebackers for Fordham have been so good at timing up the snap count this time. Andrew Osmond coming off the right side of the offensive line. Just even though the run goes to the left, he's able to come off, time the snap. As soon as that ball snapped, he's across the line of scrimmage and chases down Hart on the left side and makes the tackle.
And Brendan, Fordham calling a timeout there. Coach Conlon wanting to talk it over. What can he be deciphering in this timeout?
I think this one's more focused on stopping that clock, Chris. You have 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 2 for the Georgetown offense. Obviously, you're gonna game plan. You're gonna try and predict what this Georgetown offense is gonna come out with, because you need a stop here if you want to get this ball back and go down and score. But still, only a 2-possession game. It's realistic that you can get a stop here, take another timeout. Hopefully they miss the field goal, and then you can go down and score quick and maybe try and get something going. But it's a mix of stop the clock and game plan to get a big stop here.
Yeah, only 2:48 left in this game, Brendan. They cannot have that Hoyas 2-score lead go to a 3-score lead. That would be the end of the game here today.
That would pretty much end it, yes, Chris.
3rd and 2 after the short gain from Hart. He's now subbed out for Sumter. Sumter's in the backfield with quarterback Thomas. He's handed the ball. He'll go right up the middle. Don't think he got the first down. He'll be short on the 3rd and 2. That'll be another 3rd down stop for the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams have had a ton of 3rd down stops this afternoon.
Yeah, they have, and a big run stop there by this defense now.
Another Fordham timeout taken after that play.
Coach Conlon was running out to the official. Here's the interesting thing here, though, Chris. If you're Georgetown, you're in a situation where you can take the field goal. It's the ball sitting at the 20. It's going to be about 37-yard field goal.
I know where you're going with this.
So you can either settle for the 37-yard field goal, try and make it a 3-possession game, or you have a 4th and 2 where if you get the first down, you basically ice the game. That is game you can pretty much kneel it out. So a decision here. We can see the kicker warming up on the sideline for Georgetown, but we'll wait and see which unit goes out there.
Yeah, it seems the offense still out there in a huddle, but the kicker also warming up on the field. Seems like Georgetown almost trying to keep Coach Joe Conlon guessing here a little bit.
Yeah, and Coach Conlon's going to wait, and it looks like Georgetown is also called a timeout here, trying to extend it, trying to figure out what they want to do, how they want to attack Fordham.
And at this point in the game, Brendan, especially between the two coaches, it becomes a bit of a chess match.
It does, and both coaches they're going to play a game of chicken where they're both going to try and get the other coach to send out their unit first, and then they send out the opposite, try to get them scrambling, something like that. But looks like the offense is taking the field, Chris.
Yeah, it looks like Des Thomas II and the rest of the Georgetown offense taking the field. They're going to try to complete this 4th down conversion to really end the game here. 4th and 2. Ball on the Fordham 20-yard line. They elect not to kick the field goal. 2:42 to go in this 4th quarter. A first down would ice the game for the Hoyas. Des Thomas in the shotgun. He's got Savion Hart directly to his left. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Takes the snap. Drops back to pass. Receives attention in the backfield. Rolls out left. Throws a miraculous pass. It's short. Intended for really nobody. It'll be an incomplete pass, and Fordham will get the ball back.
And Chris, yet again, 4th down. Fordham bringing pressure, getting to Des Thomas, forcing him to be uncomfortable with where he's at and forcing another incompletion.
A big incompletion forced by the Fordham defense. And as much as Fordham's defense has done this afternoon, they're turning the ball back over to the offense. That's really the subset of this team that struggled this afternoon.
It is the part of this team that struggled this afternoon, and Now it's do or die mode, Chris. This is just like the first half where you had that 2-minute drill. It's do or die. You go out, you throw the ball, you have to move the ball downfield fast.
Fordham setting up here. Gunnar Smith in the shotgun. They'll start on their own 20-yard line. On the Fordham 20. 1st and 10 for the Rams. Smith in the shotgun. Lewis directly to his right in the backfield. Drops back to pass. Looks far sideline. Moves up in the pocket. Decides to run. Ends up sliding right before the 30-yard line. Calmed down around the 28. That'll be an 8-yard gain setting up 2nd down. Good drive starter for the Rams.
Good drive starter, and expect this offense to go quick here.
Offense going to continue to move quick. Gunnar Smith setting up in the shotgun quickly. 2nd and 3. Ball on the Fordham 27-yard line. Drops back to pass. Smith loses the ball on the throw. It's picked up by a D lineman. Georgetown running. Finally taken down at the 15. We'll see if that one is an incomplete pass or a fumble. If it's a fumble, that means no good for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, that one going to be close. It's ruled a fumble on the field, but of course all turnovers will be reviewed. It's just a matter of was Gunnar Smith's arm moving forward when that ball came out, or was it already out?
Steve Miller, the replay official, Michael Lee, the replay communicator, along with referee Tom Zetz, they're going to figure this one out on review. They'll see if that's a turnover. I believe it is. If it's a turnover, Brendan, that goes to a theme all season long of timely turnovers for Gunnar Smith. We saw one in the first half of this one, and we just saw one just now. As timely as it gets, really.
Yeah, I mean, 2-minute drill, this is when you need it. It's do or die, and a turnover ends the game practically. And to me, this looked like a fumble as well. It looked like some D lineman got a hand in there, knocked that ball away, and then when Gunnar Smith's arm was coming forward, that ball was already loose.
Fordham Rams had some positive momentum, but after that turnover, it's really hard to have any sort of optimism.
Really hard, and obviously we'll wait to see what the verdict is after the refs come back from review and when the teams take the field again.
Yeah, both teams in huddles on the sideline waiting for the official call. As the play ended, 2:04 was on the clock, a few seconds away from the 2-minute warning. Still 14-0 Hoyas over the Fordham Rams.
And both teams have both their offense and defense out on the field. They're even unsure of what it is.
Yeah, not many guys on the sideline in general. Seems like almost every guy is out there on the field. We'll get an official call from the referee now. Ruling on the field is upheld. It'll be a fumble, and it'll be a fumble recovered by the Georgetown Hoyas and a turnover for the Fordham Rams on their last offensive drive of the afternoon.
And that is just a bummer of a way to kind of end this game if you're Fordham, going out, turning the ball over in your own territory, and Georgetown's going to come out and not necessarily knee this one down, but at least run the clock, and Fordham can only stop it one time.
2:04, as I said, on the game clock. 1st and 10 for the Georgetown Hoyas. They're on the Fordham 16. 16 yards to the goal line for the Hoyas. We'll see. They run this, kneel this. Seems like it'll be a run play to start the drive. It will be. Savion Hart going right up the middle. Almost got through a hole on that right side. Ends up getting stopped by Cloudy Robinson, and that'll set up 2nd down. Clock continues to move, except for the 2-minute warning. 3 seconds come off the clock, and that leads us to the 2-minute warning. Probably a good sign, and something probably good for the Rams, but maybe just a little too late.
Yeah, a little too late, and we'll wait and see after the 2-minute timeout here whether Coach Conlon is going to use his last timeout or whether he is going to concede and let Georgetown run the clock.
14-0 still. Georgetown leads. 2 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. We'll be right back from Cooper Field at Georgetown University. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carrino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
here at the 2-minute warning at the University of Georgetown. 2 minutes left to go in this Patriot League matchup. Now moving into the latter half of this afternoon, 14-0 Georgetown leads over the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams still scoreless in this one. And after that 2-minute warning, Georgetown right around the end zone, seeming to almost make this 3 scores.
Yeah, 2nd and 7 from the Fordham 13, and here's where it is Fordham has 1 timeout left. We'll see if Coach Conlon decides to use it or whether he concedes the game. But even a first down kind of ends it. And what you'll see a lot of players do in the NFL these days is once they reach that first down mark, they'll slide somewhere inside that 5-yard line, give their team a chance to just knee it out.
I believe T. Higgins did that not too long ago in a Bengal game. 1 timeout for the Rams, 2 timeouts for the Hoyas. Des Thomas and his crew set up in the shotgun. No victory formation yet. 2 minutes to go. As Brendan said, 2nd and 7, ball on the Fordham 13-yard line. Thomas sets up in the shotgun. Hart directly to his left in the backfield. Takes the snap. Fakes the handoff. Takes it himself. Is wrestled down. I believe that's Drew Minnick and Andrew Osman. And with some attitude, the Fordham Rams get the quarterback down. And Joe Conlon takes a timeout. Head coach of the Fordham Rams.
Coach Conlon does take his timeout. That's going to force a 3rd and long here for this Georgetown offense. Des Thomas on the keeper. Again, this Georgetown team just trying to run this clock, but be as creative as possible while doing it. This time you have Des Thomas on the keeper trying to fool the Fordham defense. So these linebackers weren't fooled. I'm interested to see what kind of play call they dial up. You pass the ball, you get the first down, you could officially end the game. Or do you run 40 more seconds off the clock because Fordham doesn't have a timeout, and then decide what to do on 4th down?
What do you think? What option do you think is the most probable here?
I think they run it. I think they take 40 more seconds off the clock. I think you bring it down to about minute 15 when that 4th down ball will be snapped, and then depending on how much yards you get here, will determine that fourth down play call.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and 10 before that 4th down play call. Ball on the Fordham 16-yard line. 1:52 to go in this 4th quarter. Des Thomas in the shotgun. Xavion Hart directly to his right. On the 3rd and 10. Handed off to Hart. Hart jukes both ways to get passed out of the backfield. Eventually gets about a yard or two. Will set up 4th and short for the Hoyas.
Yeah, really impressive vision there by Hart. And because of that vision and his probably 3 or 4 jump cuts on that run alone, it brings him to a 4th and 4 here, which now, Chris, you do have a decision to make.
Yeah, a real decision. You could see it on the field, a real hesitancy from the Hoya offense. They don't know what they're going to do.
I imagine they let this run all the way down as low as possible, call a timeout, and then decide in the huddle what they're going to do.
Or you could hypothetically take the penalty and then kick the field goal.
You could. You also have 2 timeouts that...
You wouldn't want to take the penalty for no reason.
Exactly.
Hoyas take a timeout with 1 second left on the game clock, 1:05 on the 4th quarter clock, and we'll see how Georgetown decides here. Brendan, has anything in the last play changed your mind? You think it'll be a run?
I think they go for it here. I don't think they kick it. I think they go for it.
Adding to the lead doesn't do much here. Draining the clock does.
It doesn't. I think what they do here is if I'm calling the plays, I'm using Des Thomas's athleticism. I'm getting him outside the pocket, and I'm getting Jimmy Kibble somewhere in there outside where you can get the ball to him, let him make a play. Let one of the 2 superstars on this team make a play.
As you said, Kibble, a superstar for this team, has had a relatively quiet game so far, hasn't had a ton of yards, but when he has been integral for their offense, he's been able to be productive.
He has. He's been very productive with the touches he has gotten.
The Georgetown offense going to go out there. 4th and 4 for the Hoyas. They're going to go for it on Fordham's 10-yard line. 1:05 to go in this 4th quarter. 4th and 4. Thomas has it in the shotgun. Gives the handoff. Hart tries to go left and tries to go through the middle. And Carter Hess wrestles him down to the ground. That's a much bigger man getting him to the turf. And another 4th down turnover for the Fordham defense.
And that's a very conservative play call there from Georgetown. Just playing it safe, run the ball, don't risk any turnovers, and trust that your defense can go and hold this Fordham offense.
Mosiah Talanoa, the right tackle for this Georgetown team, a little gingerly walking off. Definitely not a place where you want to get an injury, especially in your starting lineup.
No, this late in the game is absolutely the worst spot to get anyone injured.
And now after that drive, after the turnover on downs for the Georgetown Hoyas, 58 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Still a 14-0 lead for the Hoyas. That 14-0 lead is going to, you'll be able to buy that in a vintage shop in a couple hours. That thing has been around for a while.
It has over 30 minutes of game time.
Still a scoreless outing for the Rams. They got 58 seconds to get on the scoreboard. 1st and 10, they're going to start it deep in their own territory on the 11. That's where they got the stop. Gunnar Smith snaps back, looks to pass, finds Benton. Benton catches it past the 25. They'll be taken down right around the 28, and that'll keep the chains moving. Fordham moving down the field.
Yeah, Jack Benton just getting up, settling down in between zones, and making the grab.
48 seconds and counting on the clock. 1st and 10 after that play. Ball in the Fordham 29. Smith back to pass. Moves right. Throws it to Tracy. Tracy catches it in double coverage. Tracy makes that catch right past the 40. Call him down at the 42-yard line. Be around 13 yards to gain on that play. 37 seconds and counting on the clock. Fordham continuing to move quickly. Smith, 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. In the shotgun. Drops back. 2-step drop. Throw to Lewis. Lewis on the slant route. He catches it past the 50. Runs out of bounds at the 40. And that'll stop the clock and keep this team moving. Stop the clock for the time being.
Chris, at this point, this Georgetown team just playing prevent defense. Nothing over the top. You'll allow Fordham to take anything underneath.
Yeah. 26 seconds left on the fourth quarter clock. Smith now at the Georgetown 44 after that play. Past the 50-yard line in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Throws it over the middle. Benton tried to get there, and it's broken up from behind. Fantastic play once again in the secondary of the Hoyas.
Huge breakup there in that secondary. The safety coming down and getting there at the perfect time to break that pass up. Knocks into Jack Benton as well and forces 2nd down.
After the completion, 2nd and 10 for the Rams. Ball still on the Georgetown 44-yard line. 22 seconds and counting. Smith out of the shotgun, throws it to Lewis in the left flat. It's a running back screen. He's moved past a few guys, past the 30, past the 25, taken down right past the 25. Call him down at around the 23-yard line. Almost 20 yards on that play for Lewis. 13 seconds and counting on the clock. Clock does not stop. Rams no timeout. Still down 2 scores. Smith back to pass. At the Georgetown 23, fires it into Tracy. Tracy catches it past the 10, just before the 5-yard line, down at the 6. 17 yards on that catch. Fordham continuing to string together the completions, and they simply ran out of time. Clock strikes 0 before they can get another offensive snap off, and that's the game. Fordham Rams travel to Georgetown University, and they take the loss on the road. Hoyas win 14-0.
Yeah, big win for Georgetown here. Fordham, you look at this game, a fantastic outing from your defense, and you saw your offense come to life at the end of both halves, but again, that's against kind of a protective shell kind of coverage. It's something that obviously 1 game left in the season, Chris, next week at Merrimack. An out-of-conference game. Today was your last conference game for Fordham against a Georgetown team that is a little above you in the standings, but obviously there's rooms for improvement, but there's also promising signs on both sides of the ball for this Fordham team.
First scoreless outing for the Fordham Rams this season. They went scoreless this afternoon, 14-0. Georgetown, not many more points on their side, but when the other team goes scoreless, you don't really have to light up that scoreboard.
No, you don't. Today was more of kind of a defensive battle between these teams. Fordham defense has been improving and has looked great over the past few weeks, and a great outing from them, like I said, but you said it perfectly. When you're scoring 14, when you're letting up 0 points, you don't need to go down and score a whole lot to get the win.
Fordham Rams going to try and end this season off on a happy note. Their next game next weekend. That's on Saturday at noon at Merrimack College. We'll have Tucker Austin, Thomas Tisdale on the call for that one. For us, from Cooper Field for one last time, the beautiful Georgetown University. I've had an absolute honor calling Fordham football. I would like to thank everybody who's been helping along the way, especially Bobby Chaffardini, our sports director, and, of course, our boss, El Jefe, Joe Henry. For me, Chris Carrino, for the last time, along with Brendan Shorey. Brendan Shorey, any closing remarks?
was a pleasure calling Fordham football this season, a pleasure calling Fordham football with you today, as well as the other games this season, Chris, and it's going to be left in good hands.
Always a pleasure, Brendan. The final score from here at Georgetown, 14-0. The Fordham Rams lose on the road to the hosting Hoyas. We're going to send it back to the Bronx, to the Rose Hill studio for the post-game report with Gabby Price and Max Perlman. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
And welcome back to the Rose Hill studio here at Fordham University. It is the one-on-one post-game report. The final score of the game today is 0 Fordham, 14 Georgetown. I'm Gabby Price, joined by Max Perlman in studio. And we also have our broadcasters out in GW joining us, Chris Carrino and Brendan Shorey. Thank you guys for joining us. It was a very interesting game today between these two teams, but there are some positives for the Rams, and that's where I kind of want to start. This Fordham defense, James Conway making Fordham and NCAA history in tackles. What did you guys see from this defense today, and why was it the bright spot out of this game today?
Yeah, GP, I thought defense and special teams for this Fordham team really stepped up. They really met the challenge on both sides for this Georgetown team. Obviously, Conway tends to be the leader of this Fordham unit defensively. He was in the middle of almost anything and everything all afternoon today. There's a bunch of guys on this defense that I really thought were all over the place. TJ Jones II had a lot of really good plays today. Drew Minnick was really good today, along with Andrew Osman. A lot of good signs heading toward the future of this Fordham team and the Fordham defense. And the Fordham defense, as we just said, wrapping up from here at Georgetown, only 14 points on the scoreboard. This Fordham defense gave this Fordham team a chance to win this game. It was just the Fordham offense that just couldn't get anything together today.
And I think it all starts with the front seven and stopping the run, and that's something we saw this Fordham defense do really well since really that game against Dartmouth, is they've been able to stop the run effectively. And when you do that, you force teams into these long passing situations, and it's very reminiscent of the Fordham offense this season, is what this Fordham defense is able to do to these other teams in conference. And I think that's where it starts, and I think that was a point of emphasis this week, and they really went out and stopped the run and forced this Georgetown offense into difficult situations.
All right, Max here. I got a question sort of about the other side of the ball, the offensive struggles. And I know we obviously love promoting WFUV zone. I got a question about the offensive struggles. And I know we obviously love promoting WFUV's own, but does it hurt a bit in the broadcast booth to have to call Dom Sanzone's name so much?
I don't know if hurt would be the adjective I would use. Maybe slightly demoralizing for sure. I think we get the benefit of when the punting unit goes out for our team, we get one of our peers to go out there and call a play for. So there is a bit of a positive element to maybe a more negative set of circumstances that football announcers would usually have to deal with. But this team obviously, not just today, but all season, has punted way too much. Obviously, Will Haslett, the leading punter for this team, is out. Dom's going to get a lot of run like he did today. And the amount of punting, obviously, Max, is an indicator of the struggles of the offense this afternoon.
And I would say disappointment is a fair word to use. Any team's going to be disappointed on any drive they don't score on. So, obviously, as much as we love calling Dom's name out there, every time we say it does come with a tad bit of disappointment that there were no points added at the end of the drive.
There's one odd one out, but aside from that, Dom very good today in his punting role as well. Really gave this Fordham team good field position defensively. That played a factor into why they were so good defensively today as well.
Well, thank you guys. Congratulations on a great season of broadcasting Fordham football. Fordham might not have a perfect record, but in our opinion, you guys definitely do. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And now Max and I will kind of wrap up this game, this second half of Fordham football. But first, Max has one last update for us.
Oh, yes. Oh.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
All right. Thanks, Gabby. Focusing on the NFL, looking back to Thursday night, the Jets are continuing their quest for the first overall pick as they lose to MVP frontrunner Drake May, who threw for 281 yards in a 27-14 win. Now, skipping forward to Sunday, you can wake up bright and early at 9:30 to watch college football legends Tua Tagovailoa and Marcus Mariota battle in Madrid for the middling Dolphins and Commanders. The Giants will be looking for their third win of the year against the struggling Packers offense at the Meadowlands. Big matchup in the NFC North as the 6-3 Bears will take on 9 and the 4-5 Vikings. Fun game in Buffalo as the 6-3 Bucks and Bills square off. Hopefully some fireworks seen from Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen. We also will get a rematch of the Unk Bowl in Pittsburgh as Aaron Rodgers' Steelers take on Joe Flacco's Bengals. And then some awesome, excellent matchups at 4 o'clock as the 7-2 Seahawks and Rams will battle for the top of the NFC West, and the 8-2 Broncos will look for their 9th straight against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. A great duel on Sunday night with two NFC powerhouses, where the 6-3 Lions will face off against the 7-2 Eagles. With your one-on-one NFL update, I'm Max Perlman.
Thank you, Max. Well, once again, the final score of Fordham George Washington today was 0-14. The Rams lose their 6th straight game with 1 game left in the season. Max, it was a 2-possession game for Fordham for more than half of the game today, right down to the final few seconds. The Fordham offense just not finding anything efficient, really. Gunnar Smith turned the ball over with 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes, right when Fordham felt like they were gaining a little bit of momentum. And then on the next drive, again, offense started to get going a little bit, it felt like, but they finally were stringing completions, but the shot clock ran out, like we heard. Overall, just kind of disappointing if you're a Fordham fan for this first scoreless outing of the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, the offense was just absolutely brutal today. I mean, 15 rushing yards over 60 minutes is just not ever what you want to see. It just felt like moving the chains was impossible. Like, cumulatively 3 for 13 on third down efficiency. It's just not pretty stuff. 2 fumbles late in the game. Obviously, Gunnar Smith is doing all he can back there, but yeah, like a late turnover that really just sealed the loss. Just felt just really inevitable, like that the ball was just going to somehow end up in Georgetown's hands every time the offense touched it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there really weren't even that many opportunities for them to score in that second half. In the halftime show, we talked about a couple missed field goal kicks, which could have at least put them on the board, but it felt like in that second half, it felt like more of a struggle the entire time.
Yeah. It was definitely a struggle. I mean, I do definitely want to look at the positives, though. I mean, obviously, there were no points scored in the second half, so clearly the defense was playing well. I mean, Chris brought up Drew Minich, Terrence Jones, and Andrew Osmond, or TJ Jones and Andrew Osmond, all underclassmen on that defense who all had excellent games. Drew Minich in the secondary had 11 tackles, which is amazing. So obviously some positives. Obviously, I mean, season's getting late, so to look forward to next season, those guys hopefully all returning to kind of be the foundation of the defense once Conway, who, again, worth bringing up all his awesome accomplishment today, leaving obviously. So, you hope those 3 guys in particular who stood out today can keep carrying that defense and providing just good play on the other side of the ball while they will look to improve the offense, which certainly needs a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense, like you just mentioned, Chris and Brendan both mentioned it as well, really the highlight of the game today, something that has been kind of holding this Fordham team down throughout this entire season. I mean, they have really, like you mentioned, led in tackles. They led today in tackles. It was really the one thing on the stat sheet that they had over Georgetown. So that definitely something, like you mentioned, to be proud of. And having a young defensive line, obviously a great thing looking ahead to not just next game, but next year. At this point, it's more about how are you going to build this team for next year to have a better season than you did. But of course, there is still one more game next weekend. That will be against Merrimack. It'll be the last game of the season, so a little bit sad that we're running out of time here in studio for Fordham football.
It's true. I mean, Merrimack, their season certainly has not gone as expected either. A 3-8 record. So obviously Fordham, let's scratch that second win and end the season on a high note. But no, for sure, it is unfortunate that there is only so much football left to be covered.
And so one last game, Max, what do you think Fordham should take into not just from today, but from this whole season into the last game of the season to try and lock down one more win?
I think definitely, hopefully we see that the defensive performance carry over today, especially, I mean, the pass defense was excellent today. If there's one thing to take away from it, the rush defense not as strong. They, Savion Holt for Georgetown had a strong game. But, yeah, carry over that defensive performance for sure. And Merrimack not going to be as strong of an offense as Georgetown. So, like, if you could keep the defense as it is, carry that, take what you can from today, bring it next week. Offense, leave it where it was today, and try and bring something else in next week. That's what I'll say.
It can really only be better next week, hopefully. And I also think special teams, shout out to them. They had a couple blocked field goals. Of course, only one of them really ended up mattering in the end, but still really good work from them, just trying to get their hands on the ball, preventing scoring from happening. But like we just said, the Fordham Rams will look to end their losing streak next weekend at Merrimack College. One last time, the final score here was 0-14. Georgetown took the game today, but that will be all from us here at Rose Hill Studios today. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our broadcast. For our broadcasters, Chris Carrino and Brendan Shorey, our engineer, Max Langer, our producer, Owen Kelty, and my co-host and updates guy today, Max Perlman. Our WFUV sports manager is Bobby Taverdini. I've been Gabby Price. Fordham Football is a production of WFUV Sports.